Chapter 1, The Awakening of Feng Yuan. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained a grade for Vitality Restore pill. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained a century's worth of cultivation. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained 3 million low-grade spirit stones. In a hazy, chaotic space, a cold, emotionless notification sound echoed from time to time. Each message was delivered in the same monotone. After an unknown amount of time, Feng Yuan's consciousness gradually began to clear. System, how long has it been? System, it's been 10,000 years. 10,000 years. Feng Yuan's mind raced with disbelief. He felt like countless ages had passed, yet the system was telling him it had only been 10,000 years. He had been just an ordinary worker on Blue Star, Earth, not wealthy but comfortable enough. Life was steady, and he had come to terms with his existence. But then, a car accident transported him to another world, and he even activated a system. For an internet addict like Feng Yuan, the thought of transmigrating with a system had been a dream come true. He had often fantasized about living the life of a web novel protagonist. But that excitement didn't last long. It quickly turned to despair. He had transmigrated, yes, but not completely. The system had activated, but not fully. He was stuck halfway through his transmigration. The system informed him that the full activation would take 1,000,000 years. Which meant he had to stay in this dark, featureless void for 1,000,000 years. Lacking a proper concept of what 1,000,000 years truly meant, Feng Yuan initially thought he could bear it. He'd just have to endure. But after only a single year, Feng Yuan nearly lost his mind. Had it not been for the system kindly offering him a sleep mode, Feng Yuan suspected he might have already broken down in this chaotic space. The void was dead silent. There was no sound at all, not even from himself. He could only communicate with the system using his mind. If the system could at least chat with him, that might have helped. But the system only responded to specific commands. Any idle questions were met with silence, and eventually, Feng Yuan had no choice but to sleep. Though he was asleep, he could still vaguely sense the passage of time, it just wasn't as intense. This time, when he woke up, he felt like he had slept for an eternity, yet only 10,000 years had passed. Heavens! Save me! As Feng Yuan mentally screamed in frustration, the system's cold voice rang out again. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained 3,000 grade 1 Vitality Restore pills. Feng Yuan blinked in confusion and opened the system's inventory. Inside was a dazzling array of items, a staggering amount. He had almost 3 trillion low-grade spirit stones and countless other treasures. The system's function was simple, it had an auto-sign-in feature. Every 24 hours, it would sign in and randomly reward him. The more times he signed in, the higher the rewards. So what if I have all these treasures? I can't even use them. The thought that he had only completed 1% of his time filled him with irritation. Feng Yuan smiled bitterly, and while his mood was relatively stable, he sank back into slumber. The space returned to silence, broken only by the system's notifications. Time flew by. 300,000 years later. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained the innate holy body of the human race. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained 5 million top-grade spirit stones. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained the Sacred King Technique, Killing Deity Manual. 500,000 years later. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained the Ancient Saint Weapon, 7-colored exquisite tower. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained 100,000 years of cultivation. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained 1 billion top-grade spirit stones. 800,000 years later. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained the Ancient Emperor Weapon, Feng Yuan seal. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained the great void immortal body. Ding, auto sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained the ancient emperor pill, 9-turn universe pill. System, how much time has passed now? Feng Yuan's calm voice echoed in the void. After spending so much time here, he had grown accustomed to the loneliness. His emotions were much steadier now, without the despair and breakdown from the beginning. System, 819,563 years. 819,000 years, huh? Feng Yuan smiled slightly. Only around 180,000 years left, and I'll be able to leave this cursed place. For the past hundreds of thousands of years, the one thing keeping him from breaking down was the thought of the life he'd have once he successfully transmigrated. He had accumulated countless treasures from signing in. Once he finally crossed over, his life would be unimaginable. Just thinking about it made him excited. With a smile on his face, Feng Yuan once again fell into slumber. 90,000 years later. Sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained 1 million immortal grade spirit stones. Sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained the immortal grade treasure, heaven slaying talisman. Sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained immortal grade 6 rank formation, immortal slaying sword array. 95,000 years later. Sign-in successful, congratulations, host has obtained the all heavens and world's strongest summon card, explosive emperor system from the exploding sky gang. Power, unknown. Can exist for 10 breaths of time to help the host defeat any enemy. Sign-in successful. The system's notifications continued ringing. Another 40,000 years passed, and only 10 years remained before the system's activation. Feng Yuan woke up. At this moment, his face was full of excitement. 1 million years. Finally. Tears streamed down Feng Yuan's face without him realizing it. Do you know how I survived these 1 million years? Even with his heart having long since become as still as a deep well, he couldn't stop the waves of emotion rising within him. Only 10 years remained, and he would finally be able to leave. After calming down, Feng Yuan immediately checked the treasures he had accumulated over the years. What's this? In the system inventory's first slot, there was a shadow, exuding a terrifying aura like an absolute powerhouse. Absolute powerhouse. My God. Feng Yuan was shocked. He could even sign in for this kind of treasure. If he summoned this guy, wouldn't he be unstoppable? Overjoyed, Feng Yuan spent the last 10 years without sleeping, constantly asking the system how much time was left. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. The cold, clear voice echoed through the void. System successfully activated, beginning transmigration. With the sound of the system's voice, Feng Yuan's consciousness instantly faded away. When it returned, he abruptly opened his eyes. The young master is awake. Quickly, inform the patriarch. An excited shout echoed in Feng Yuan's ears.
Hey everyone, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy the audiobooks, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support us further, consider becoming a Patreon member. As a member, you'll gain the ability to request the next part of a novel audiobook I've uploaded, depending on your Patreon tier.
Chapter 2, Awakening of the Immortal Body. Sound. Feng Yuan's face was filled with joy. After spending so many years in that void, he had finally heard a sound. He started examining the world before him. The buildings, furniture, and decorations all exuded an ancient atmosphere. With the memories flooding into his mind, a happy smile appeared on Feng Yuan's face. There was no doubt, this was the legendary fantasy world. I, Feng Yuan, have finally transmigrated. But soon, the smile on Feng Yuan's face gradually disappeared. From his memories, he realized many bad things had happened. Feng Yuan, originally the pride of the Feng family in Myriad Demon City, was born with a supreme spirit root. This spirit root was incomparably powerful. As long as no accidents occurred, he could easily break through to higher levels of cultivation, and with luck, he could even reach level 8. It should be noted that the current patriarch of the Feng family was only at level 5. Because of Feng Yuan's talent, the Feng family placed great importance on him, investing the family's full resources into his cultivation, viewing him as the future hope of the family. Feng Yuan did not disappoint. At the age of only 18, he had already broken through to level 3, shocking everyone with his cultivation speed. But not long ago, he was ambushed and gravely injured, his spirit root destroyed, and his cultivation was lost, turning him into a cripple. Man, what a tragedy. Clearly a genius, yet he suffered such a calamity. But don't worry, I'll live well for you. Feng Yuan's face was full of excitement. From now on, it was time for him to show his true abilities. He was determined to make the name Feng Yuan resonate throughout the heavens. But now that the supreme spirit root is destroyed, I need to restore my body first. That trash spirit root, good riddance. He immediately opened systems inventory, and began selecting the best body constitution he had signed in for. Immortal body. He had drawn a total of 37 types of immortal bodies, showing how rare they were. Systems inventory was similar to a game's inventory, automatically sorting the items by their overall strength. At the very top was the so-called strongest of all immortal bodies, the Great Void Immortal Body. This immortal body had an unparalleled physical strength, far superior to even the so-called innate human sacred bodies. In the later stages it could cultivate the Great Void Chi, which contained an ultimate destructive force capable of annihilating everything. Alright, I'll choose you. Just as Feng Yuan was about to fuse with the body, a figure hurriedly walked in. The person was incredibly robust. Feng Yuan, how's your health? Are you feeling better? Feng Yuan quickly exited the system space. He looked at the person before him and awkwardly called out, "Third uncle." The man before him was the third elder of the Feng family, Feng Yuanba. Feng Yuanba's face was full of concern, and upon seeing that Feng Yuan could speak, he was overjoyed. You almost scared your third uncle to death. Thank goodness you've woken up. Your father has been tirelessly searching for a cure for your condition, using up countless family resources. He almost emptied the family coffers. If you didn't wake up, then. Realizing he had said too much, Feng Yuanba quickly changed the subject with a dry laugh. Enough of that. The important thing is that you're awake now. Feng Yuan felt warmth in his heart seeing his uncle's concern. Although the Feng family had many members, with the side branches numbering over 1,000, the direct line of descendants had an unusual unity, there was never any internal strife. Feng Yuan asked, "Third uncle, where's my father?" Feng Yuanba replied, "Your father went to Myriad Demon's Mountain 2 days ago to seek a life-saving remedy for you. He should be back soon." Hearing this, warmth surged through Feng Yuan's heart once again, and his sense of belonging to the Feng family grew even stronger. I'm not alone anymore. After spending 1,000,000 years in that void, Feng Yuan had been lonely for far too long. He longed for this kind of family affection. From now on, I'll be the protector of the Feng family. Feng Yuanba didn't say much more. After a few more words of concern, he let Feng Yuan rest. Once he left, Feng Yuan turned his attention back to systems inventory. Great Void Immortal Body, activate. System, would the host like to suppress the accompanying phenomena? Feng Yuan immediately recalled the introduction of the Great Void Immortal Body, which would be accompanied by a phenomenon of Great Void Chi spreading for 1,000,000 miles, with all immortals bowing in submission. Yes. Are you kidding? If that phenomenon appeared, the whole world would know. He had just transmigrated and didn't know much about this world yet, so it was best to keep a low profile for now. Activation successful. In an instant, Feng Yuan's heartbeat began to pound like a drum, the sound incredibly deep and resonant. His entire body began to transform rapidly. His meridians became as hard as iron, his blood roared like a rushing river, and it was no longer red but tinged with a faint purple hue. Feng Yuan's eyes also turned a pure purple, giving him an eerie and mesmerizing appearance. This was a unique ability of the partially completed Great Void immortal body, the Great Void Eyes. These eyes could see through illusions, dispel evil, and even analyze the enemy's attacks, making them incredibly powerful. Even without any cultivation, just relying on his body alone, Feng Yuan could now rival a level 4 cultivator. Moments later, the abnormalities in his body vanished. Feeling the immense power within him, Feng Yuan smiled. This Great Void immortal body was extremely strong. He was very satisfied. Next, it was time to increase his cultivation. His sign-in system had accumulated a massive amount of cultivation, totaling nearly 100 billion years. This cultivation was based on what he would have achieved through normal practice. Even if he had sat idle for 100 billion years, his cultivation would have reached a terrifying level. Let's start by using 100,000 years of cultivation. System, would the host like to suppress the fluctuations of his cultivation? There's even an option for this. Feng Yuan immediately chose to suppress the fluctuations. Moments later, a terrifying aura surged from his body and began to rise continuously, but the powerful fluctuations disappeared after extending only 3 meters. Level 1. Level 1, 9th layer. Level 2. Level 3. Level 4. Level 5. Level 6. Level 7. Level 8. Level 9. Level 10. It wasn't until he reached level 10 that the growth of his cultivation stopped. Feng Yuan was dumbfounded. A level 10. As far as he knew, such individuals were overlords in the entire heaven of the unknown world. Reaching the level meant becoming an ancestor, overseeing one of the sacred lands. Just by using 100,000 years of cultivation, he had reached level 10. If he used all his cultivation, how strong would he become? Would he become a legendary emperor as recorded in ancient texts? Or maybe he would directly ascend and become an immortal. This system is absolutely overpowered. Feng Yuan had only wanted to see what 100,000 years of cultivation could do, but he hadn't expected to leap through so many levels. Just as he was lost in shock, a furious shout came from afar, echoing throughout the Feng family's residence. Feng Yuan, do you dare to face me in a duel? Or are you just a coward who hides? Feng Yuan immediately extended his divine sense. When he saw who it was, his expression turned cold. So you want to cause trouble, huh? He stood up and walked straight to the door. After spending so long in that void, this was the perfect time to stretch his legs. Chapter 3, Enemies at the Gate. Outside the Feng family, a stern-looking young man stood with a middle-aged man by his side, who appeared to be a protector, vigilantly watching the Feng family. Although Feng Yuan was indeed crippled, the Feng family was not. The level 5 layer cultivators were still alive. Li Haishan, you despicable man. When our young master still had his cultivation, you didn't dare utter a word. Now that something has happened to him, you dare to jump out. That's right. You're not even a real man. How dare someone like you challenge our young master? You're not worthy. Pa. The members of the Feng family cursed at Li Haishan without restraint. Li Haishan remained unmoved, completely ignoring their words. The Li family was once one of the 5 major families in myriad demons, with a divine transformation stage expert in their ranks. When Feng Yuan was in the level 2, he challenged the younger generation of various families in the city, and as the most talented member of the Li family, Li Haishan was naturally called out. The result was a crushing defeat for Li Haishan. He was utterly humiliated. Since that event, Li Haishan harbored a deep hatred for Feng Yuan, knowing full well he could never be a match for him. Thus, Li Haishan only emerged to seek revenge after Feng Yuan lost his cultivation. Though despicable, he believed it was worth it to see Feng Yuan humiliated and confirmed as a cripple. Li Haishan spoke coldly, the once proud genius of the Feng family is now nothing more than a worthless cripple. He's the one who truly lacks the qualifications. If he has any courage left, let him come out and fight me. Or has the once proud young master of the Feng family become so weak and cowardly? His voice carried clearly, echoing through the Feng family residence. A crowd had long since gathered around, murmuring as they watched Li Haishan's provocations. This Li Haishan is so shameless. He waited until Feng Yuan lost his cultivation to come out and challenge him. Where was he before? That's one way to look at it, but let's not forget, no matter how talented Feng Yuan was, it's useless now. A genius who dies young is no genius at all. I agree. Li Haishan's actions may lack honor, but Feng Yuan truly is a cripple now. He deserves the humiliation. Most of the crowd ridiculed Feng Yuan. As the saying goes, when a wall collapses, everyone gives it a push. With the downfall of the genius they once envied, many wanted to step on him while he was down. After all, the once lofty genius now couldn't even compare to their inferior spirit roots. Inside the Feng family, except for the Grand Elder Feng Yuan, who was outside, the other 4 elders had gathered. Feng Yuan roared in anger, "This is outrageous. The Li family dares to humiliate us like this. Why not just kill Li Haishan?" Feng Yuan was the face of the Feng family, and by insulting him, Li Haishan was effectively pointing fingers at the entire Feng family. Second Elder Feng Qingyun sighed bitterly, "The Patriarch and the Grand Elder are out seeking a cure for Feng Yuan. Now isn't the time to clash with the Li family." Both the Patriarch and the Grand Elder were level 5 cultivators, and without them in the Feng family, any conflict with the Li family would surely put them at a disadvantage. Fifth Elder Feng Yunpeng spoke gravely to Feng Yuanba, "Fourth brother, the other 3 families in Myriad Demons City have been subtly aligning themselves with the Wang family. Now is not the time to act impulsively." There were 5 major 5th stages families in Myriad Demons: the Wang family, Feng family, Li family, Yuan family, and He family. The Wang family had 3 5th levels cultivators, making them the most powerful family. However, they had always been at odds with the Feng family. The Li and He families each had 1 5th level cultivator, while the Feng and Yuan families had 2. When Feng Yuan was still around, the He family had allied with the Feng family. But alliances are built on future prospects. Now that Feng Yuan had become a cripple, that alliance was broken, and the He family leaned toward the Wang family. Feng Yuanba, still furious, said, "Are we just going to sit here and wait to die? The Feng family's resources are already depleted from treating little Yuan. We have less than 1,000,000 spirit stones left, barely enough to support the family for another 3 months, even with frugality. And what are we going to do after those 3 months? Don't forget, in 10 days, there's the Myriad Treasures auction house, and one of their treasures will be up for bidding. If the Wang family gains another level 5 cultivator, it will be the end of the Feng family." The elders wore grim expressions, the seriousness of the situation weighing heavily on their minds. The Feng family's situation was dire, even desperate. Everything had been triggered by Feng Yuan's downfall, causing a chain reaction of problems. Now the Feng family was truly in dire straits, internal and external troubles abound. The elders sat, anxious and deeply worried. Feng Qingyun shook his head, his voice filled with helplessness. Feng Yuan must be struggling with his pride, having lost his cultivation. Set up a soundproof array around his courtyard, so he doesn't have to hear Li Haishan's taunts. As for the Feng family's crisis, Feng Qingyun's eyes suddenly flashed with fierce determination. His voice grew cold as he said, "Brothers, don't forget where we come from. The Feng family rose from bandits and became one of the 5 great families of Myriad Demons, not through idle talk. If they truly push us too far, we'll turn the world upside down. If we must perish, we'll drag them down with us." The other 3 elders, hearing these words, turned similarly cold. Just then, an urgent voice broke the silence. "Third elder, it's bad. The young master is going to face Li Haishan." "What?" Feng Yuanba shot to his feet. He had just seen Feng Yuan's condition. It was difficult for him to even walk. How could he fight Li Haishan? "Why didn't you stop him?" The man who delivered the message knelt in fear, his voice trembling with confusion. Fourth elder, I tried, but I couldn't stop him. The young master just pushed me aside effortlessly. Are you spewing nonsense? Feng Yuan roared with anger. He knew Feng Yuan's condition well. There was no way he could push aside someone at the 7th layer of qi condensation. Enough, fourth brother. Let's go and see what's happening. The patriarch is already worried sick. We cannot let anything happen to Feng Yuan. Feng Qingyun quickly stood up and headed for the door, followed by the other elders. Outside the Feng family, Li Haishan continued to shout, Feng Yuan, you cowardly turtle. Do you plan to hide in the Feng family for the rest of your life? How about this, kneel before me and apologize, and I'll forgive you. I won't come to the Feng family to trouble you again. Among the crowd, many members of the Li family jeered. Young master, I think that Feng Yuan must be afraid. He's just a cripple now, he wouldn't dare face you. Young master is the strongest. The mocking and insults grew louder, becoming more and more unpleasant. Just then, a cold yet familiar voice echoed from within the Feng family. How amusing. Li Haishan, how does a worthless person like? Chapter 4, Power Revealed. The scene suddenly fell into a dead silence, and everyone turned their heads to look toward the Feng family gate. When Li Haishan saw arrived, his pupils suddenly shrank, and he instinctively felt a trace of fear. However, remembering that Feng Yuan had long been crippled, he sneered and said, Isn't this the so-called genius of myriad demons? I thought you were going to hide in the Feng family for the rest of your life. He emphasized the word genius, his mockery obvious in his tone. It would have been fine if Feng Yuan had stayed hidden, but now that he had come out, Li Haishan was determined to mock him thoroughly. Feng Yuan's expression remained indifferent as he looked coldly at Li Haishan. For some reason, Li Haishan suddenly felt a chill down his spine, as if he had been targeted by a terrifying beast. After a moment, Feng Yuan said calmly, Trash like you isn't worthy of being my enemy, but you're too noisy. Aren't you here to challenge me? I accept. Feng Yuan's words stunned everyone present. They widened their eyes in disbelief, staring at him. Did I hear that right? This cripple actually dares to accept a fight with young Master Li. He probably still thinks he's the genius he used to be. With just one punch, young Master Li will turn him to dust. Maybe he's gone mad and lost his senses. The crowd erupted in mocking gasps, finding it absurd that Feng Yuan had agreed to the challenge. Two of the Feng family's direct descendants couldn't help but shout. Young master, don't do it. Fifth brother, calm down. These two were Feng Minghu, the eldest son of Feng Qingyun, and Feng Kongshan, the second son of Feng Yunpeng. Their faces were full of worry. No one in the Feng family knew better than they did how bad Feng Yuan's condition was. It was a miracle he could walk normally again, let alone fight Li Haishan, who was at the late layer level too. Feng Yuan. At that moment, a deep voice rang out, and Feng Yuan strode out of the Feng family house, his late layer level 4 aura oppressive enough to make everyone present shudder. While they dared to mock Feng Yuan, no one would dare mock the Feng family itself. After all, it was one thing to make fun of a cripple, but the Feng family couldn't kill everyone, could they? Feng Yuan quickly walked up to Feng Yuan, his face full of surprise. Feng Yuan, are you all right? Feng Yuan didn't hide anything. He smiled and nodded. Fourth uncle, I am almost fully recovered. Feng Yuan trembled as he lightly patted Feng Yuan's shoulder. Good, good, good. The three good showed how much he truly cared for Feng Yuan. But then Feng Yuan sighed helplessly and said, Feng Yuan, Li Haishan's only goal is to humiliate you. Don't let him get what he wants. Feng Qingyun also approached and spoke softly. Feng Yuan, let me speak from the heart. Even though your cultivation is gone, our Feng family will never look down on you. We will do our best to help you restore your spirit root. There are some rare treasures in this world that can repair spirit roots. Our Feng family will find one for you. Come home with us, okay? They both understood that Feng Yuan couldn't swallow his pride, but the fact remained that his cultivation had been crippled. Facing Li Haishan in a fight was certain defeat. There was no chance of victory at all. Moreover, Feng Yuan had only just recovered from his injuries, and he might not even be able to fight a normal person, let alone Li Haishan. Hearing their concerned words, Feng Yuan felt a warmth in his heart and confidently said, "Don't worry, third uncle, fourth uncle. I'll be fine." Feng Yuanba and Feng Qingyun were both anxious, but after seeing the firm resolve in Feng Yuan's eyes, they knew they could no longer stop him. Even if they forced Feng Yuan back home, if he couldn't come to terms with the fact that his cultivation was gone, it would be no different from him being dead. With a sigh of resignation, Feng Qingyun stepped aside. If that was how it was, they could only step in and save him at a critical moment. After all, the patriarch had only one son. They couldn't let anything happen to him. Li Haishan sneered as he looked at Feng Yuan and said, "If you have the guts, follow me to the training ground." He headed straight for the training ground, the place where duels were usually held. It was a popular spot where strong cultivators often fought, and many people came to watch battles there daily. Li Haishan chose this place deliberately to publicly humiliate Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan said calmly, "Why bother with such a hassle? Let's settle this right here." Li Haishan paused mid-step, turning his head to look at Feng Yuan with a sneer. "Are you afraid I'll kill you, so you want to fight right in front of the Feng family gates? Ha ha ha, is this what geniuses are like? So even a genius can be this cowardly." Feng Yuan's eyes turned cold, and in the blink of an eye, he disappeared from where he stood. When he reappeared, he was already beside Li Haishan. Thud. With a single wave of Feng Yuan's hand, a deep wound appeared on Li Haishan's abdomen, and blood gushed out. The spiritual energy in Li Haishan's body began rapidly leaking out through the wound. "Weren't you mocking me as a cripple? Now you can experience what being a cripple feels like." Feng Yuan had no intention of killing Li Haishan so easily. He wanted to show everyone that Feng Yuan had returned. Li Haishan trembled as he fell to his knees, staring at the blood pouring from his abdomen and feeling the weakness spreading through his body. He was completely stunned. What just happened? He hadn't even seen Feng Yuan strike, and his cultivation was already gone. Wasn't Feng Yuan supposed to be crippled? How could he still have this kind of power? Despair and regret filled Li Haishan's eyes. If he had known, he would never have sought revenge. Now that his cultivation was destroyed, even if he managed to survive, he would only be a pitiful ant in the future. The fourth stage elder from the Li family, Li Qiu, suddenly had a drastic change in expression, his face filled with fury. "You dare cripple Li Haishan? Prepare to die." Li Haishan had been the most talented member of the Li family, destined to become at least a fifth-stage expert. Now that Feng Yuan had crippled him, Li Qiu was enraged beyond measure. Feng Qingyun, snapping out of his shock, roared back. "Li Qiu, don't you dare." Li Qiu's eyes were filled with madness as he shouted. "You destroyed my family's genius. Feng Yuan must die." An overwhelming force surged forth from Li Qiu, accompanied by a terrifying pressure that made the onlookers' faces change drastically. A battle between fourth-stage cultivators was no joke. A single misstep could result in innocent casualties, and those with weaker cultivation might even die from the aftershocks. Feng Qingyun's heart sank. It was too late. Li Qiu was a late-layer fourth cultivator, only slightly weaker than him. That brief moment of hesitation had already put him a step behind. "Feng Yuan, get out of the way." All Feng Qingyun could do was shout, hoping Feng Yuan could dodge, though he knew the odds were slim. Even if Feng Yuan's cultivation had recovered, he was only at the level 3. How could he dodge a fourth-stage attack? Feng Yuan chuckled coldly and said with a chilling tone, "Who do you think you are to bark at me?" His voice was icy, and in an instant, Feng Yuan moved even faster than Feng Qingyun, his fist shooting out like a cannonball. Boom! With just one strike, Li Qiu is dead. Feng Yuan killed a level 4 elder of the Li family. Wasn't his cultivation crippled? How does he have such combat strength? A terrified voice broke the silence, causing an uproar. Countless eyes were filled with shock and fear. Chapter 5: The Rebirth of the Feng family's prodigy. The atmosphere at the scene fell into a deathly silence as everyone stared in disbelief at what had just happened. Li Haishan being crippled had already been shocking enough, but Li Qiu being killed by Feng Yuan in a single blow was truly terrifying. Li Qiu wasn't just a level 4 early layer cultivator, he was at the late layer L. Even Feng Yuan Qingyun would have struggled to take him down, let alone a junior like Feng Yuan. Yet, this seemingly impossible event had happened right before their eyes. Li Qiu had been killed by Feng Yuan, and it had happened instantly. Even the members of the Feng Yuan family were stunned, their eyes wide like saucers, their mouths agape in disbelief. Feng Qingyun, Feng Yuanba, and the 4 elders were utterly bewildered, their hearts surging with waves of shock. After a brief moment of silence, the members of the Feng family erupted with cheers. "Young master! Young master!" It turns out the young master's cultivation wasn't crippled, and he's even advanced further, capable of killing a late layer level 4 cultivator like Li Qiu. Truly, the heavens bless the Feng family. Some of the clan elders had tears in their eyes, their faces full of excitement. Meanwhile, some who had been watching the spectacle from the shadows had darkened expressions. Feng Yuan wasn't crippled after all. A man with a scarred face, standing a few streets away, had a grim look. His eyes were cold as he spoke quietly to someone in the shadows. "Quickly, report back to the master about this situation. Feng Yuan's cultivation hasn't been crippled, he must have been hiding it all along. I suspect he broke through to the level 4 long ago, and now he's possibly at the late stage or even at its peak. If he can reach such a level at such a young age, it won't be long before he ascends to the level 5. Tell the master to act against the Feng family swiftly, or it will only get harder later. And also send word to the Wang family. Tell them to take concrete action soon. If they think they can wait around to reap the benefits without getting their hands dirty, they're wrong." Soon, there was a response from the shadows. "As you command." The scar-faced man turned to look at Feng Yuan in the distance, his eyes filled with apprehension. To have reached such a cultivation level at just a few years old, Feng Yuan must be hiding some major secrets. No wonder the Feng family has a hefty bounty on their heads. Thinking this, a sinister smile spread across his face. Maybe this is an opportunity. If we can seize everything from the Feng family, all their secrets will be ours, and the rewards will be immense. Feng Yuan, you have quite the fate, don't you? Even sending 30 death warriors wasn't enough to kill you. In front of the Feng family's residence, Feng Yuanba and Feng Qingyun quickly walked up to Feng Yuan. They had countless doubts in their hearts, but they still moved to shield Feng Yuan. Feng Qingyun coldly addressed the onlookers. "Li Qiu took it upon himself to attack a junior of our clan, and got himself killed. He brought it upon himself. If the Li family has any objections, they are welcome to come to our Su family for an explanation." Previously, without Feng Yuan, their confidence had been somewhat lacking. But now that Feng Yuan's cultivation had not only recovered, but had grown even stronger, enabling him to kill a late layer level 4 cultivator like Li Qiu, their confidence surged. Other families had deep roots, but the Feng family was different. They had fewer holdings in Myriad Demon's city. If things came to a head, they could simply leave the city with Feng Yuan and return for revenge once their power was sufficient. That was precisely why, even though the Wang family was stronger, they hadn't dared to force the Feng family into a final confrontation. After speaking, Feng Qingyun hurriedly escorted Feng Yuan back into the Feng family residence. Inside the Feng family's hall, only the 4 elders and Feng Yuan were present. Feng Qingyun wore a serious expression. "Yuana, explain to your second uncle what exactly is going on with you." Feng Yuan's sudden increase in strength was too strange, and Feng Qingyun feared he might have been possessed by another soul. But Feng Yuan had already prepared an explanation. He lightly punched Feng Qingyun, and though it seemed casual, it forced Feng Qingyun, a peak level 4 cultivator, to stagger back a few steps before steadying himself. What? Feng Yuan was shocked. Feng Yuan's casual strike left him almost defenseless. Feng Yuan smiled, "Second uncle, when I was very young, I apprenticed under a master. He was extremely powerful, but he made me promise never to reveal his identity, which is why I kept it a secret. And I'm not just someone with an ordinary spirit root, I actually have a saint-level constitution. This constitution only fully activates when facing a life-threatening situation, so having my cultivation crippled was a kind of opportunity, allowing me to be reborn stronger." Feng Yuan's eyes widened, and he couldn't help but swallow hard. A saint physique. Feng Yuan had such a heaven-defying constitution. And he had a master. Why hadn't they heard of this before? His expression grew wary. "When you turned 7, what gift did I give you for your birthday?" Feng Yuan chuckled but answered straightforwardly, "You gave me a dagger. I named it Breeze, but I lost it later. You gave it to me in the courtyard next door." Hearing this, Feng Yuan finally relaxed. It was common for cultivators to possess others, but the new host could only access the original's recent memories. Memories as distant as those from age 7 wouldn't be retained, so Feng Yuan was unlikely to have been possessed. Feng Yuan's face lit up with joy. "You little rascal, you had us all scared half to death." The 4 elders of the Feng family were equally overjoyed. Feng Yuan was their nephew and the future head of the Feng family. The stronger he was, the happier they were. Feng Yuan scolded him in mock annoyance. "If you had already recovered your strength, why did you act so pitiful when I came to check on you?" Feng Yuan scratched his head in embarrassment. At that time, he hadn't yet activated his primordial immortal physique, so it had been hard to muster any energy. Report. The patriarch and the great elder have returned. 2 figures entered the Feng family hall. The man leading the way was tall and imposing, with an air of heroism. He was the head of the Feng family, Feng Tian. Beside him was a more refined-looking man with the demeanor of a scholar, the Feng family's great elder, Feng Yuan. But both of them had rather somber expressions, indicating that their recent efforts to find a solution for Feng Yuan had been fruitless. Feng Tian sighed, "Second brother, what happened to Yuana might just be his fate. We shouldn't deplete the family's limited resources trying to restore his spirit root." Months of searching had left Feng Tian feeling hopeless. He had tried everything and expended numerous resources, yet nothing had worked. Feng Yuan hadn't even regained consciousness, and his aura was growing weaker by the day. Though he found it hard to accept, Feng Yuan seemed to be reaching the end. In another half-month, it might truly be too late. Feng Yuan immediately retorted, "Brother, what are you saying? After our sister-in-law passed, you only have this one son. Even if we can't restore his cultivation, we must save his life, even if it means using every last resource of the Feng family to pull him back from death's door." Hearing this, Feng Tian's face showed deep guilt. He felt he had been a burden on the entire family. The Feng Yuan family wasn't originally a local power in Myriad Demon City, they joined later, which led to resistance from the city's original 4 level 5 families. The Wang family, in particular, had always been eager to crush them. The Feng family had already been in a difficult position, and this new crisis only made things worse. But then, Feng Tian froze. In the distance, he saw a familiar young figure approaching them. His pupils constricted sharply. Yuana. Chapter 6, Feng Yuan's hidden strength revealed. Yuana. Feng Tian couldn't help but shout in surprise as he hurried over, his eyes full of joy. "You're awake." His gaze was filled with disbelief, as if he were dreaming. Feng Yuan could feel the concern in his father's voice and smiled as he said, "Father, I'm awake." Hearing this, Feng Tian, a grown man, couldn't help but tremble. He took a deep breath. "Good, it's good that you're awake." He had been worrying himself sick over Feng Yuan these past days, almost turning his hair white with stress, all in the hope that his son would wake up. Feng Tian consoled him, "As long as you're alive, everything else is minor." Losing your cultivation is nothing. I will protect you for the rest of your life. Wait a moment. Feng Yuan suddenly interrupted the comforting words, smiling as he said, Big brother, now that you're back, wouldn't you like to first find out what's been happening in the city? Feng Qingtian frowned. What do you mean? Feng Yuan gave a mysterious smile, which caused Feng Yunqian to sigh in exasperation and scold. Fourth brother, if you keep acting mysterious, do you want me to hit you? Feng Yuan shrank back in fear, since Feng Yunqian was the brother he feared the most. Here's the situation, Feng Yuan was never really crippled. Feng Yuan explained everything that had happened, even mentioning the mysterious master that Feng Yuan claimed to have. When they finished listening, Feng Qingtian and Feng Yunqian were utterly shocked. No wonder there had been a deep pit on the main street when they returned to the Feng family, and the people had been giving them strange looks. It was all because of Feng Yuan. Good heavens, Feng Yuan had crippled Li Haishan and even killed Li Qiu. And the key point, he had a saint-level grade physique. They had only ever read about such an extraordinary physique in ancient texts. Physiques were ranked from inferior, medium, and superior spirit roots to supreme spirit roots, heavenly spirit roots, saint body, and finally divine bodies. Anything beyond that they knew nothing about. A supreme spirit root was already seen as terrifying, cherished by their family as a precious treasure. A level-grade physique, which was 2 levels above that, was beyond their imagination. Feng Qingtian swallowed nervously before raising his hand, saying excitedly, Feng Yuan, hit me with your fustigel strength. I want to see just how powerful you are now. Feng Yuan raised an eyebrow. Are you sure about that? With his current mid-level level 11 cultivation, a sneeze could kill Feng Qingtian thousands of times over. A full-force punch would send him straight to meet their ancestors. But Feng Yuan didn't want to reveal too much of his strength, especially since he had just managed to explain his sudden recovery. Taking a deep breath, Feng Yuan pretended to strike with full force, though in reality, it was less than 1/10,000th of his power. He raised his hand and struck toward Feng Qingtian, and the massive force spread from Feng Qingtian's palm. Feng Qingtian's mouth twitched slightly, pain shooting up from his palm to his brain. Hiss! It hurt. Feng Qingtian coughed lightly, pretending to casually place his hands behind his back as he said, Not bad. Looks like your strength has reached at least half a step into the level 5 stage. It seems our Feng family will soon gain another level 5 expert. Feng Yunqian glanced at him, noticing Feng Qingtian's trembling hand behind his back, and his face filled with shock. Was Feng Yuan really this strong? Feng Qingtian was already a mid-layer level 5 cultivator. Unable to hold back his curiosity, Feng Qingtian asked, Feng Yuan, why is your body so powerful? Feng Yuan paused for a moment before calmly replying. I'm a saint-level physique, so having a strong body is only natural, right? Feng Qingtian. Well, that made sense. There was nothing wrong with that explanation, but something still felt off. However, Feng Qingtian couldn't quite put his finger on it. Seeing that Feng Yuan's issue had been resolved, Feng Qingtian spoke seriously. Now that Feng Yuan's problem is resolved and all the elders are here, we should discuss how to handle the family's situation today. The elders' faces became serious as they realized how dire the Feng family's current situation was. After hesitating for a moment, Feng Qingtian said to Feng Yuan, Feng Yuan, you should join us. Given Feng Yuan's talent and strength, he was the clear future leader of the Feng family. Learning how to handle family matters now would help him take over more smoothly later on. In the Feng family's council hall, 7 people sat upright. These 7 were the 5 elders of the Feng family, along with Feng Qingtian and Feng Yuan. Feng Qingtian was the first to speak. Third brother, tell us how many spirit stones the family currently has. Feng Qingyun's face looked grim as he carefully pulled several ledgers from his storage ring. After cross-checking them, he said, Big brother, we only have 930,000 spirit stones, with a fluctuation of no more than 30,000. 930,000. Feng Qingtian's expression darkened upon hearing this. Even if the Feng family tightened its belt, they could only survive for 2 or 3 more months. But in such a situation, there would hardly be any resources left for proper cultivation. The family members' progress would stagnate, and with such scarce resources, the situation seemed dire. However, it was even more crucial for the younger generation, who needed resources for their growth. And Feng Yuan, being a level physique, would require even more resources to break through. Feng Qingyun said gravely. Although our family has several industries, our expenses are greater than our income. We need to come up with other solutions quickly, or the family's resources will soon be exhausted. The fourth elder, Feng He, said helplessly. Our Feng family has only been in Myriad Demon's City for a little over 10 years. Unless we redistribute wealth from the rich, it will be difficult to quickly acquire a large number of spirit stones. The hall fell into silence, everyone's faces filled with worry. The resource shortage was a problem they had no immediate solution for. Feng Yuan looked around and couldn't help but speak up. Is our family really short on resources? Feng Qingyun sighed and said helplessly. Feng Yuan, you don't know much about the family's situation. We have a weak foundation and few savings. The family's spirit stones are almost depleted, and things like medicinal pills have long been used up. Hearing this, Feng Yuan raised an eyebrow. What a coincidence. The one thing he wasn't short on was heavenly treasures and spirit stones. Feng Yuan opened his system to check the number of low-grade spirit stones. Low-grade spirit stones, 6,500, 1,564 trillion. He didn't bother counting the exact amount. After all, he would never run out. After thinking for a moment, Feng Yuan took out a top-tier storage ring he had acquired from the system. The space inside was as large as 3 football fields. He immediately put 30 billion low-grade spirit stones into the ring, and handed it to Feng Qingtian. Father, I have some spirit stones here that should help the family through this crisis. Chapter 7, A Wealth Beyond Imagination. Upon hearing Feng Yuan's words, Feng Qingtian sighed helplessly and said, Feng Yuan, you should keep your personal savings for yourself. The family requires an enormous number of spirit stones, and the little you have, even if contributed to the family, would be like a drop in the ocean. Feng Qingtian was well aware of how many spirit stones Feng Yuan had. Having 30,000 low-grade spirit stones was already considered a lot for him. Feng Yuan required a vast amount of resources for his daily cultivation. Whatever he received, he used up quickly. How could he have any excess spirit stones? However, Feng Qingtian was still comforted by Feng Yuan's thoughtful gesture. Seeing his father's refusal, Feng Yuan insisted, Father, this is just a small token of my appreciation. It may not be much, but I won't feel at ease until you accept it. 30 billion low-grade spirit stones. Indeed, not much, barely a fraction of his wealth. Seeing Feng Yuan so enthusiastic, Feng Qingtian chuckled and shook his head, then casually took the storage ring from Feng Yuan's hand. All right then. Feng Qingtian probed the space inside the ring, and his expression shifted from curiosity to utter shock, leaving him frozen in place. He went from being dazed to confused to astonished and finally to excited. Lifting his head, Feng Qingtian asked in a trembling voice, Feng Yuan, where did you get all these spirit stones? Feng Yuan calmly smiled and replied, they're from my master. Seeing Feng Qingtian's shocked expression, Feng Yuan frowned and took the storage ring to check for himself. Let me see what's going on. In an instant, his expression mirrored Feng Qingtian's utter disbelief. His eyes widened as he scanned Feng Yuan, nearly on the verge of blurting out, what the? His face was filled with confusion and shock. Could this be real? My heavens! Seeing their reactions, Feng Yuan quickly grabbed the ring to check for himself. I need to see what's going on here. But soon enough, his expression matched theirs. This? This is 30 billion low-grade spirit stones. Feng Yuan, lacking the composure of his brothers, blurted out, his face filled with disbelief. 30 billion low-grade spirit stones. Even the entire Wang family's reserves wouldn't exceed 10 billion. We've just surpassed their 1,000-year savings threefold. What? 30 billion low-grade spirit stones. The second and fourth elders as well as the fifth elder took turns examining the ring, their expressions becoming equally stunned. It was indeed 30 billion low-grade spirit stones. Their gazes fixed on Feng Yuan, their eyes full of confusion. This nephew of theirs seemed completely different from the person they thought they knew. First, he killed Li Qiu with a single strike, and now he casually pulled out 30 billion low-grade spirit stones, calling it a small token of appreciation. Is this your small token? A small gesture amounting to 30 billion spirit stones. Soon, they snapped out of their astonishment, and Feng Qingtian couldn't help but ask. Feng Yuan, these must be cultivation resources your master gave you, right? Feng Yuan's eyes lit up. Ah, a perfect excuse. He immediately replied. Exactly, father, you've figured it out. The Feng family is my home, and now that we're in trouble, how could I not step up? Feel free to use these 30 billion spirit stones, I have plenty of resources left. Besides, my master is incredibly powerful. He doesn't care about these small amounts of spirit stones. He placed all the responsibility on his fictional master. After all, Feng Yuan couldn't reveal the system, that was his greatest secret. If he came up with another excuse, it would likely raise suspicion. It was much easier to say he had a powerful master. Upon hearing this, Feng Qingtian finally relaxed, his face breaking into a smile. Good. You truly are a son of the Feng family. Feng Yuan, equally delighted, added. Feng Yuan's master can casually give him 30 billion spirit stones for cultivation. He must have reached an unimaginable level. Why should we fear the Wang family? Feng Yuan frowned and said. Fourth brother, strength is what truly matters. Relying on others is never a long-term solution. Feeling embarrassed, Feng Yuan scratched his head and replied. I was just speaking casually, second brother. Why take it so seriously? Feng Qingtian suddenly said. Feng Yuan, these spirit stones are yours. Once we get through this crisis, we'll return the surplus to you. He knew that Feng Yuan's cultivation was the most important thing, and he didn't want to hinder his progress by using his resources. Feng Yuan's tone became firm. Father, I said you should use these resources. Whether for the younger disciples or for yourselves, feel free to use them. I don't lack spirit stones. Seeing their disbelief, Feng Yuan waved his hand, and 3 more storage rings appeared in his right hand. See these rings? Each one contains 30 billion low-grade spirit stones. If you run out, just ask me. I'm not short on spirit stones. If needed, I can ask my master for another 100 billion or so. Crack! The teacup slipped from Feng Yuan's hand and shattered on the ground. Just moments ago, he thought the 30 billion spirit stones would secure the family's future, so he had relaxed and taken a sip of tea. But then, Feng Yuan casually hit him with a bombshell. Another 90 billion spirit stones. And if they ran out, Feng Yuan could just ask his master for more, in amounts like 100 billion. What kind of absurd master was this? Feng Yuan tossed the rings onto the table, saying, If you don't believe me, check for yourselves. Feng Yuan quickly examined each ring, and sure enough, each one contained 30 billion low-grade spirit stones. He gulped and glanced at his stunned brothers, silently nodding his confirmation. The hall fell into a stunned silence, no one could find words to speak. The entire Wang family had accumulated only 10 billion spirit stones over 1,000 years, and now Feng Yuan had casually surpassed them without breaking a sweat. Was the gap between them really this vast? Feng Yuan retrieved the 3 rings and said nonchalantly. 30 billion spirit stones aren't much. Though his tone was calm, it felt like a heavy blow to everyone present. 30 billion spirit stones are not much. That's 30 billion. Do you even hear yourself? Feng Yuan continued. Father, as the young master of the Feng family, I'm giving these 30 billion spirit stones to develop the family. And like I said, if we run out, just tell me. I truly don't lack spirit stones. Originally, Feng Yuan had planned to give them some heavenly treasures as well, but after thinking it through, he decided it was best to take things slow. Besides, those treasures would be hard to explain. 30 billion spirit stones would suffice for now. Chapter 8, A Brewing Conflict in Myriad Demon City. Myriad Demon City, the Wang family. This was one of the oldest and most established powers in the city, once the head of the four great families, possessing immense strength, with 3 level 5 cultivators in its ranks. Today, the level 5 cultivators from all 4 great families were gathered at the Wang family. In the Wang family's council hall, the head of the Wang family, Wang Ming, sat at the main seat. On his left were Wang Shou, the Wang family's great elder, and Yuan Hao, head of the Yuan family. On his right sat Li Feisher, head of the Li family, and He Hongyun, head of the He family. Aside from the servants pouring tea, the only people present were level 5 cultivators. Wang Ming scanned the room before speaking calmly. Gentlemen, I assume you've all heard about Feng Yuan. Li Feisher's eyes turned cold. Master Wang, that little brat Feng Yuan killed my third brother. I cannot share the same sky as the Feng family. As long as you take the lead, I'll follow, and we'll destroy the Feng family together. The Li family wasn't particularly strong. They only had 1 level 5 stage cultivator. Losing a level 4 stage member was a significant blow, which left Li Feisher furious. If it weren't for the Feng family having 2 level 5 stage cultivators, Li Feisher would have already charged in and killed Feng Yuan. No need to rush. Wang Ming said calmly, waving his hand. He turned to Yuan Hao and He Hongyun. What do you two think? His eyes narrowed coldly. This meeting was to determine which side they would support, whether to help the Feng family, side with the Wang family, or remain neutral. Yuan Hao smiled and immediately replied. The 4 great families are united. The Yuan family is naturally willing to cooperate with the Wang family to destroy the Feng family together. With the Yuan family's position clear, all eyes turned to He Hongyun. He Hongyun hesitated. The Feng family had great potential, and he had even allied with them before. But now, with 3 of the great families joining forces, if he continued to side with the Feng family, his own He family might be doomed. After a brief consideration, He Hongyun smiled and said, Yuan Hao is right. The 4 great families are united, so we should face the Feng family together as one. The He family was relatively weak, with only 1 level 5 stage cultivator, so they often had little choice in such matters. Wang Ming smiled. Good, then we have an agreement. Li Feisher eagerly asked. Master Wang, when will we move to eliminate the Feng family? His tone was full of impatience. While the Feng family only had 2 level 5 stage cultivators, their potential was immense. The second elder, Feng Qingyun, was at the peak of the level 4 stage, only a step away from the level 5. The third elder, Feng Yuanba, was in the late layer level 4 and likely to break through soon. And now, with the exceptional talent Feng Yuan, Li Feisher was eager to destroy the Feng family to eliminate future threats. Both Yuan Hao and He Hongyun looked to Wang Ming, hoping he would decide. The Feng family had indeed developed rapidly, and now that they were united, they needed to act quickly to destroy them. Wang Ming shook his head. I am in the level 5 late layer, and my family has a mid-layer, and an early-stage level 5 cultivator. If we could have wiped out the Feng family, I would have already joined forces with Li Feisher to do so. The reason I haven't made a move is not that I don't want to, but that I don't dare. Why not? Li Feisher asked urgently. Everyone turned to Wang Ming, curious. Did the Feng family have some hidden trump card that even the Wang family feared? Or were they worried the Feng family would flee and return for revenge? Wang Ming said gravely. Feng Hongyuan is still alive. What? How is that possible? Li Feisher was stunned, his face filled with fear. Feng Yuan, the Feng family's old patriarch, was a half-layer level 6 stage cultivator. If he was still alive, the alliance of the four families would be nothing but a joke. Yuan Hao quickly asked. Master Wang, this is no joke. When the Feng family first entered Myriad Demon City, Feng Yuan was already hanging by a thread. Over a decade has passed. How could he still be alive? When the Feng family first arrived, they had only 2 level 5 cultivators. The 4 great families united to oppose them, unwilling to let another level 5 force settle in the city. After all, there was only so much room in Myriad Demon City, and the 4 families had neatly divided it among themselves. None of them wanted another competitor. In the end, the Feng family successfully established themselves in the city, largely due to Feng Yuan. Without him, the Feng family would never have truly entered Myriad Demon City. Wang Ming calmly replied. Don't worry, gentlemen. Feng Yuan may still be alive, but he's barely hanging on. The reason I've called you all here today isn't to discuss how to destroy the Feng family. Feng Yuan is still a half-step level 6 cultivator. Even if he's barely alive, he's not someone we can deal with easily. You all know the Feng family's situation. Their foundation in Myriad Demon City is still shallow, and their resources are scarce. All we need to do is cut off their access to resources, and we can win without a fight. Feng Qingyun may be at the peak of the level 4, but so is my family's expert. The Yuan family and the Li family also have level 4 cultivators. As long as we can endure, victory is ours. After explaining his strategy, Wang Ming looked closely at the others. After a moment of thought, Li Feisher smiled and said, Master Wang, that's brilliant. The Feng family is practically penniless. I heard they only distributed 60% of their usual resources last month. They must be on the verge of collapse. Yuan Hao agreed. Cutting off the Feng family's resources will prevent Feng Qingyun from breaking through to the level 5 stage, and Feng Yuan won't have the resources to cultivate. If we wear them down, we'll easily destroy them. The Feng family can barely support its own members. In terms of resources, any one of our 4 great families could easily crush them. The 4 families quickly reached an agreement. They would launch an economic assault on the Feng family. The Feng family's largest industry was its shops, the core of their economy. By cutting into their customer base, the Feng family's income would be reduced by at least 80%. Their strategy: price war. The Feng family had shallow resources and relied on high-volume sales. By slightly lowering their prices, the 4 families could. Chapter 9: The Feng family's secret strength. Glorious Harmony Street, Jade Forest Street, Windflower Street. These 3 streets are where the Feng family's business is primarily concentrated. The Feng family members had just arrived, ready to start business, only to notice many unfamiliar shops had popped up on the streets. At first they didn't pay much attention, but soon after, they realized something unusual was happening. These new shops were selling similar items to theirs. The only difference: the prices. The new shops were selling their goods at prices about 20% lower than the Feng family's stores. The items sold at Feng family's shops weren't of the highest grade, mostly catering to regular cultivators. For such customers, saving money was crucial. With prices 20% lower, the new shops quickly attracted large numbers of customers, including many loyal to the Feng family. Manager, I've found out the details. Inside one of the Feng family's shops, a middle-aged man with a grim expression and murderous intent in his eyes spoke up. Tell me, who dares go against our Feng family? The reporting subordinate hesitated, his face full of unease but also fear. All of these shops have the backing of the 4 great families. The manager's expression changed drastically. Are you certain all 4 families are involved? I'm sure of it. Nearly 60 new shops have opened, with the majority belonging to the Wang family. Even the He family, the smallest participant, has opened 7 stores. Hearing the report, the manager's face darkened further. The four families were joining forces to target the Feng family. This intention was becoming painfully clear. Feng Yuan stood up, instructing, "Do not cause trouble for them." After giving the order, he left the shop, heading straight for the Feng family residence. This was a serious matter and needed to be reported immediately. Feng Family Council Hall. Nearly 30 people sat in the room, all of whom held real power within the Feng family. Apart from the elders, many collateral family members were also present. Feng Qingtian spoke gravely, "I'll get straight to the point. Feng Yuan has reported that the four great families have teamed up to open shops, competing directly with ours by selling the same goods at nearly 20% lower prices." What? Many people in the room were shocked. This news held immense implications. First, if the four great families were working together, did that mean they had already made their alliances clear? Feng He frowned deeply. "Our shops are the backbone of our family's income. The four families' actions aim to cut off our arms. Without the income from the shops, the Feng family wouldn't be able to support the thousands of members in their household." Even though Feng Yuan had given them 30 billion spirit stones, it wasn't a long-term solution. After all, their family wouldn't only exist for a few decades. The hall remained silent, with everyone looking serious and deep in thought. There was no idle chatter. They knew this meeting was about finding a solution, not discussing the problem. Suddenly, a strong-built middle-aged man, Feng Yuan from the collateral family, stood up. "There's another issue I need to report to the family head." Feng Qingtian looked up. "Speak." Feng Yuan's face was filled with concern. "This morning, I received news, but I haven't had the chance to report it yet. Several levels mercenary groups that previously cooperated with us have terminated their contracts. They no longer wish to supply resources to our family. When I inquired, they said the Wang family had bribed and threatened them, offering high prices to stop them from working with us." Feng Qingtian's eyes flashed with murderous intent. The Wang family had gone too far. But now, it wasn't just the Wang family, it was all four great families. In the city, many families sold resources, with a small portion being harvested by the family itself, and most coming from partnerships with mercenary groups. Without these partnerships, their shops would be unable to function. Feng Yu spoke with concern. "Our foundation in this city is shallow, and our shops already operate on thin profit margins. If we cut prices by 20%, not only will we fail to make a profit, but we will start losing money. The Feng family is already in a difficult situation. What should we do now?" Many in the Feng family wore anxious expressions, though Feng Qingtian and the senior members remained composed. While the loss of profits was significant, they still had the 30 billion spirit stones, which could sustain them for quite some time. The key was finding a long-term solution during this period. Feng Yuanqian, after thinking carefully, finally spoke, "We cannot win a price war. The four families have more resources than us. Instead of lowering prices, we should reduce our focus on the shops and divert manpower to other ventures. For example, we could form our own mercenary group to find resources directly, or venture into the Haoyue forest to hunt demonic beasts." Though this was far from ideal, it was one of the few options left for the Feng family. "Greetings, young clan master." A respectful voice suddenly sounded from outside the hall. Moments later, Feng Yuan entered the hall. Feng Yuanqian smiled and said, "Come, sit beside me, Yuana." Seeing this, many in the room were astonished. For Feng Yuanqian, to invite Feng Yuan to sit beside him carried significant meaning. Of course, given Feng Yuan's newfound strength, he was more than qualified to join the family's leadership. Without hesitation, Feng Yuan sat down next to Feng Yuanqian and looked around the room. "There's no need to overcomplicate things," Feng Yuan said confidently. "If the four families want to play these little games, let them. We don't need to concern ourselves with their petty tactics. The purpose of running the shops is to keep the family functioning. But our Feng family is not lacking in resources." Everyone in the room was momentarily stunned. Several people discreetly shook their heads. The young clan master, though talented, didn't seem to understand the current situation. The family was nearly drained of resources. Few people knew about the 30 billion spirit stones Feng Yuan had given the family, as only the core members of the direct line were aware. If too many people knew, word might spread, and powerful figures might come to covet their wealth. Seeing that his son wasn't foolish, Feng Qingtian asked cautiously, "Feng Yuan, do you have a solution in mind?" Feng Yuan smiled and handed Feng Qingtian a space ring, speaking through a sound transmission. "Father, inside this ring are 500,000 essence-gathering pills, and 130,000 vitality restore pills. These are gifts from my master. Don't worry. They'll be more than enough to keep the family running smoothly." "What?" Feng Qingtian stood up abruptly, his eyes wide with shock. 500,000 essence-gathering pills, and 130,000 vitality restore pills. Are you serious? Even the entire stock of essence-gathering pills in Myriad Demon's City would only total 100,000 to 200,000, and vitality restore pills were even rarer, with just 10,000 being a good supply. Feng Yunxian and the other elders also wore stunned expressions. This was all too familiar. When Feng Yuan had presented the 30 billion spirit stones, Feng Qingtian had reacted similarly. Could it be? Feng Qingtian took the space ring with trembling hands, and used his spiritual sense to check its contents. What he saw was a mountain of porcelain bottles, each containing 5 round pills. It was real. Chapter 10, A Rising Force. Feng Qingtian could never have imagined that Feng Yuan could casually take out so many low-grade pills. He looked at Feng Yuan again, full of confusion in his eyes. The son who had grown up by his side had now become so unfamiliar. Feng Yuan, of course, knew what his father was thinking and said helplessly, "I have a saint body, and my master is an incredibly powerful cultivator. It's normal for him to give tens of thousands of grade 1 pills to his disciples as snacks, right?" Feng Qingtian couldn't help but twitch at the corner of his mouth. This kid had been getting a bit cheeky lately. However, Feng Yuan's reasoning was sound. With his saint body and his powerful master, while 50,000 grade 1 pills seemed like a lot to them, they were actually not as valuable as a single grade 6 pill. If Feng Yuan's master was truly that powerful, these pills would indeed be insignificant. Feng Qingtian took a deep breath, turned to the others in the hall, and spoke with a serious tone, "Starting today, close all our shops. Let everyone rest for a while." With the 30 billion lower-grade spirit stones from earlier and all these pills, the Feng family could sustain themselves for a long time. By then, their strength would surely have increased significantly, making them capable of standing up to the 4 great families. Moreover, with Feng Yuan's extraordinary talent, it wouldn't take long for him to break through to level 5 layer. By then, the family would have 3 level 5 experts. And with the upcoming treasure from the Myriad Treasures auction house, the Feng family could potentially increase their level 5 experts to 4 in a short time. When Feng Qingtian made this announcement, many people in the room immediately showed anxious expressions. "Family head, we can't do that. Our Feng family has yet to establish a solid footing. If we give up on our businesses, it'll be even harder for us in the future." Feng Qingtian said firmly, "Enough. I already have a plan. There's no need to worry." Although they had many doubts, the group could only keep their thoughts to themselves. The Feng family was not only united, but they also placed great emphasis on loyalty to the family. Even if they didn't fully understand the reasoning behind the decision, they chose to follow it. Not long after, the meeting ended. Left in the hall were only a few elders and Feng Yuan, all of whom took turns examining the storage ring Feng Qingtian had handed over. Their expressions, as expected, were filled with disbelief and astonishment. So many pills, no wonder the family head is so confident. Martin Wang gave Feng Yuan a big hug. "Yuan, you're truly the family's lucky star." The other elders smiled as well, their hearts filled with joy. Not only was Feng Yuan the future of their family, but he was already solving their biggest problems. Feng Qingtian looked at his son with deep pride. The future of the Feng family, with Feng Yuan in it, was indeed bright. 4 days from now is the auction at the Myriad Treasures auction house. Feng Yuan, why don't you accompany your second uncle? The Myriad Treasures auction. Is it for the spirit essence liquid? The Myriad Treasures auction house wasn't a local force in Myriad Demon City, they were merely conducting business there. In reality, the auction house was stronger than any force in the city, with a presence across the entire eastern domain. The heavens of the Unknown's continent was divided into 4 major regions: east, west, south, and north. Myriad Demon City was just a small part of the eastern domain. The Myriad Treasures auction house had locations spread across the entire eastern domain, proving just how powerful they were. Feng Yuan smiled and said, "That's right. Originally, we didn't stand a chance of obtaining it. But with these 30 billion spirit stones, the spirit essence liquid is sure to be ours." Spirit essence liquid was a rare treasure filled with the essence of the world. It could help level 1 stage cultivators break through to the level 5 without any side effects. In such a crucial moment, whoever obtained the spirit essence liquid would have a huge influence on the overall situation. The Feng family already had Feng Yuan. If they could acquire the spirit essence liquid, it wouldn't be long before they had 4 level 5 experts. Feng Yuan readily agreed to attend the auction. After leaving the meeting hall, Feng Yuan returned to his courtyard. "Greetings, young master." A delicate-looking young girl was cleaning in the courtyard. When she saw Feng Yuan arrive, she respectfully greeted him. Her name was Little Han. As a child, her parents sold her to the Feng family, and because she was meticulous and careful in her work, Feng Qingtian had assigned her to take care of Feng Yuan's daily life. Feng Yuan nodded indifferently and sat down casually. Little Han instinctively moved behind him to massage his shoulders gently. Feng Yuan's face relaxed into an expression of enjoyment. The life of a noble young master really was quite pleasant. "Little Han, how long have you been by my side?" Little Han thought for a moment and then replied, "Young master, it has been exactly 11 years and 5 months." Her voice was soft and gentle, carrying the delicate charm of a woman. Hearing just her voice, one could imagine she was quite beautiful. Feng Yuan raised an eyebrow in surprise. He had asked the question casually, not expecting her to remember so precisely. "And how do you feel about staying with the Feng family?" At Feng Yuan's question, Little Han suddenly looked terrified. She immediately knelt down and pleaded, "Young master, please don't send me away. If I've done something wrong, I will change." Feng Yuan froze. He hadn't expected such a reaction from her over a simple question. He quickly realized his mistake. As the Feng family's heir, his words carried significant weight, and his casual inquiries could easily be misinterpreted by those beneath him. By asking her about her time in the Feng family, it could be seen as dissatisfaction on his part. Amused, Feng Yuan shook his head. He gently lifted Little Han's face, looking into her wide, watery eyes, and smiled warmly. "I don't plan on sending you away." Seeing Feng Yuan's soft smile, Little Han felt a bit dazed. Although Feng Yuan had never been harsh to her, he had always been somewhat distant. He had never been so approachable before. And with them being so close now, Little Han's heart began to race uncontrollably. Quickly snapping back to her senses, Little Han blushed and said, "Young master, I am very happy here in the Feng family. I love it here." Feng Yuan nodded and handed her a storage ring with a calm expression. "There are some cultivation resources and techniques in here. You have a mid-grade spiritual root, so make sure you cultivate properly and improve your strength. Don't embarrass me as my personal maid. Thank you for your kindness, young master." Little Han's face lit up with joy as she gratefully accepted the ring. After opening it to inspect the contents, her eyes widened in disbelief. So many spirit stones. There were nearly 50,000 spirit stones, along with a treasured sword and 2 low-grade profound techniques. As a servant of the Feng family, her monthly wage was only 70 spirit stones. 50,000 spirit stones would take her a long time to accumulate, yet Feng Yuan had just gifted them to her. And the low-grade profound techniques inside, each was worth at least several 100,000 spirit stones, perhaps even millions if the quality was good. Filled with gratitude, little Han immediately knelt down and kowtowed to Feng Yuan. "Thank you, young master." In that moment, she felt that she would follow Feng Yuan even through fire and water. Feng Yuan couldn't help but chuckle to himself. Did I just buy her loyalty with such a small amount of resources? Is it that she hasn't seen much of the world, or am I just too rich? Chapter 11, Clash at Bane Starfire. Myriad Demons City. Feng Yuan walked slowly down the bustling street, his eyes filled with curiosity. Although he had perfectly inherited the memories of his previous self, he still wanted to see the world with his own eyes. As he observed the hustle and bustle of people on the street, Feng Yuan wore a satisfied expression. Being alive feels so good. Before long, he had wandered through Myriad Demons City for nearly 3 hours, eating and drinking along the way, sampling the city's various local delicacies. Bane Starfire. Feng Yuan stopped in front of a restaurant. Though the establishment wasn't large, its decor was elegant, and it had many patrons coming and going. "Let's go in and take a look." He hadn't been here before, so he was curious to see what it was like inside. "Welcome, sir. A table for 2. The host at the entrance of Bane Starfire greeted him warmly. Feng Yuan nodded casually. "Yes, for 2. Right this way." The host shouted energetically, and then respectfully gestured for Feng Yuan to enter. As he watched the steady stream of people entering and leaving, Feng Yuan asked curiously, "What's special about this place? Why is it so crowded?" He had visited many establishments today, some even grander than Bane Starfire, but none were as busy. The host smiled. "You may not know this, sir, but Bane Starfire is graced by one of the top 10 beauties of Myriad Demons City, Miss Jingro. Every evening, she draws lots, and the lucky table has the opportunity to dine with her." Feng Yuan showed a look of understanding. So, it was because of Yang Jingro. He had heard of the top 10 beauties of Myriad Demons City. He had even seen 9 of them before, and most held prominent positions. However, Yang Jingro came from a humble background, with neither power nor influence. Among the top beauties, each one was renowned for their exceptional appearance, so it wasn't surprising that she had such appeal. Interesting. Feng Yuan, amused by the situation, decided to join in the fun. It wasn't that he was particularly interested in Yang Jingro, he just enjoyed being part of the lively atmosphere, after spending so long isolated in the void. He ordered a few small dishes and a pot of wine, sitting quietly as his maid, little Han, poured the drinks for him. Not long after, a graceful figure ascended the high platform of Bane Starfire. She wore a purple dress, her face partly obscured by a veil, and her aura was ethereal and elegant. One glance was enough to captivate the crowd. "Miss Jingro. Pick me, Miss Jingro. I've been coming here every day for a month. I've been coming for half a year. Half a year, my foot. Miss Jingro only started working here 3 months ago. You're just making things up." The restaurant immediately erupted in a lively commotion, with men at every table vying for Jingro's attention, their eyes filled with hope. Yang Jingro scanned the room with indifferent eyes, preparing to choose her dining companion for the day. As a woman, she deeply resented having to use her looks to earn a living. However, there wasn't much she could do, this was the fastest way to obtain resources. Baixiang residents would give her 30% of the total profits, and all she had to do was dine with a guest twice a day. But suddenly, Yang Jingro's pupils contracted sharply. She had noticed a strikingly handsome young man sitting in a corner of the restaurant. Feng Yuan, the young master of the Feng family. Why was he here? Could it be that he was here for her? Feeling a surge of joy, Yang Jingro immediately chose Feng Yuan's table without hesitation. Her attendant promptly stood up and loudly announced, "Miss Jingro has chosen table 15. Table 15. The crowd quickly located Feng Yuan, and some of them frowned. Something about him seemed familiar. In Myriad Demon City, Feng Yuan was a prominent figure, but not everyone had seen him. Most people had only heard of him, and only a small fraction had ever laid eyes on him. When Feng Yuan heard that Yang Jingro had chosen him, his brows furrowed slightly. He glanced briefly at Yang Jingro, and their eyes met for a moment. But Feng Yuan quickly looked away, signaling to Little Han to pour more wine, his attitude indifferent. Bang! At table 79, a young man in his 20s, dressed in luxurious clothing, slammed his fist on the table. His expression was cold as he muttered, "That guy gets to dine with Miss Jingro, yet he dares act so high and mighty." Without a word, the man stood up and made his way toward Feng Yuan, followed closely by a group of men, each looking fierce. "Hey, kid." The young man walked straight to Feng Yuan's table. He glanced at Little Han before grinning wickedly. "She's pretty. Name your price and I'll buy her." Little Han was startled by his words, her heart racing with anxiety. In many powerful families, it wasn't uncommon to buy and sell servants. Little Han feared that if this man offered too high a price, Feng Yuan might agree to sell her. But the young man, Zhong Hian, wasn't really interested in buying Little Han. His main goal was to provoke Feng Yuan, and teach him a lesson for his perceived indifference toward Miss Jingro. In his eyes, anyone dining with Miss Jingro should be ecstatic, yet Feng Yuan's calm demeanor felt like an insult to her. Feng Yuan raised his head, his voice cold as he replied, "Leave while I'm still in a good mood." Zhong Hian was taken aback, not expecting such a response. His expression darkened as killing intent flickered in his eyes. "Kid, are you talking to me?" The four thugs accompanying Zhong Hian stepped forward. Their auras were strong, each one was at the level 2, with the strongest at the level 3. "It's over for that guy. He's offended Zhong Hian, the eldest son of the Zhong family. That family has 3 level 4 experts. Getting targeted by Zhong Hian is a disaster. He had it coming. Didn't you see his dismissive attitude toward Miss Jingro? What a jerk. Zhong Hian, teach him a good lesson." The restaurant was filled with jeers, and many patrons were irritated by Feng Yuan's aloof behavior. Yang Jingro watched in horror as Zhong Hian approached Feng Yuan. Does he even know who he's messing with? That's Feng Yuan, the young master of the Feng family, and a peerless genius who can kill level 4 experts. If he gets angry, the entire Zhong family could be wiped out. She almost stepped forward to stop the confrontation, but after a moment of consideration, she chose to stay out of it. After all, she had no real connection with Zhong Hian, and there was no need to offend Feng Yuan for his sake. Zhong Hian's tone grew colder as he continued, "Kid, you told me to leave. Today, no one can save you. Drag him outside and break his limbs in the street." Chapter 12, Unveiling Power. Bane Starfire also had a level 4 expert supporting it, so Zhong Hian naturally didn't dare to go too far. The 4 servants accompanying Zhong Hian sneered as they approached Feng Yuan, their eyes filled with murderous intent. Feng Yuan's gaze turned cold, and a trace of impatience flashed across his face. His good mood for the day had been completely ruined. With a wave of his hand, it felt as if the air itself was being compressed. The 4 servants were crushed instantly, their blood spurting like fountains. In an instant, the 4 of them were killed. Immediately after, Feng Yuan picked up a chopstick and threw it. The chopstick pierced straight through Zhong Hian's throat. Bang! Zhong Hian fell to his knees, his pupils dilating. He clutched his throat, disbelief written all over his face. What just happened? You dare kill me? The Zhong family won't let you go. Zhong Hian struggled to speak, his voice filled with difficulty. Feng Yuan didn't respond. To him, people like Zhong Hian weren't even worth paying attention to. Moments later, Zhong Hian couldn't hold on any longer. He collapsed straight to the ground, blood pouring from his throat. His eyes were filled with despair and regret, as well as remorse. Why did I provoke him? Unfortunately, there were no regrets in this world, and even if the Zhong family sought revenge, what did it matter to Feng Yuan? Death meant everything was over. As Zhong Hian was killed, Baixiang residents fell into dead silence. The patrons who were coming and going were filled with fear. He actually killed Zhong Hian. Wasn't he afraid of the Zhong family's retaliation? Feng Yuan's ruthless methods left them too scared to even breathe loudly. He's terrifying. Even Yang Jingro was shocked. She hadn't expected Feng Yuan to kill Zhong Hian so directly. At the same time, a ripple of emotion surfaced in her beautiful eyes. If only I could marry Feng Yuan. Even as a concubine, I wouldn't mind. With such strength and high status, what woman wouldn't want him? Suddenly, an overwhelming aura descended upon Baixiang residents. A level 4 expert. The hearts of everyone present trembled. Had a level 4 cultivator arrived so quickly? The person who arrived was a slightly plump middle-aged man, his face filled with urgency. When he saw Feng Yuan sitting in the corner, he hurried over and respectfully bowed. I am Dong Ji, the manager of Bain Starfire. Greetings, young Master Feng. Dong Ji's face was filled with anxiety, fearing that Feng Yuan might take his life as well. The others didn't recognize Feng Yuan, but how could a level 4 stage expert like Dong Ji not know the young master of the Feng family? The rumors had been spreading all over the city in recent days. Feng Yuan had killed the late-stage level 4 cultivator from the Li family. Dong Ji, who was only at the mid-layer level 4 level, knew he wasn't Feng Yuan's match, especially with the entire Feng family standing behind him. What? Seeing Dong Ji bow to Feng Yuan, the patrons of Bain Starfire were shocked. Young Master Feng. Wait. Could he be so young, and even a level 4 expert would bow to him? He could only be Feng Yuan, the young master of the Feng family. My God, Zhong Hian had kicked a steel plate. Of all the people to provoke, he had to provoke Feng Yuan, and even tried to flirt with his servant girl. Feng Yuan's indifference towards Yang Jingro now made complete sense. As one of the top beauties of ancient revival city, she and the others would likely line up to marry him if he asked. Why would he care about Yang Jingro? Feng Yuan glanced at Dong Ji indifferently, stood up slowly, and turned to leave. This is truly boring. Little Han, let's go home. With that, the two of them left Bain Starfire. Watching them walk away, Dong Ji finally breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Feng Yuan wasn't angry with him, that was the best outcome. On the high stage of Bain Starfire, Yang Jingro bit her lip in frustration, her eyes full of unwillingness. Damn it, Zhong Hian. If you hadn't messed things up, I could have at least had a meal with him today. After Feng Yuan left, the patrons of Bain Starfire were finally able to breathe again. The restaurant remained quiet for a while before returning to its lively and noisy atmosphere. The Wang family. Master, the situation is even better than you anticipated. When Wang Ming heard this, his eyebrows raised in surprise and he asked, What do you mean? The Wang family steward immediately explained, Master, the Feng family's shops have all closed. Not a single one is open. Upon hearing this, Wang Ming's lips curled into a smile. The Feng family, trying to compete with me. You're still too inexperienced. Once I get my hands on the spirit essence jade, wiping out the Feng family will be just a matter of time. But just then, Wang Ming's brow furrowed, and he gestured for the steward to leave. You can go. The steward bowed respectfully and left. Shortly after, a figure in a black robe jumped in through the window, his face concealed. His identity was unrecognizable. The man bowed to Wang Ming and spoke in a solemn tone. There has been an unexpected development today. Feng Yuan gave Feng Qingtian a space ring. I don't know what was inside, but they seem to have found a way to resolve their crisis. Wang Ming's eyes narrowed. Can you be more specific? The man shook his head. I can't. Feng Qingtian and Feng Yuan were communicating through voice transmission, so I couldn't overhear their conversation. But when Feng Qingtian ordered the shops to close afterward, he seemed confident. You should be careful. With that, the men turned and disappeared into the night. Wang Ming took a sip of tea, pondering for a long time before sneering. Feng Qingtian, stop pretending. I know more about the Feng family than you do, Feng Qingtian. If you manage to solve this problem, I'll eat my own hat. Wang Ming was confident that the Feng family had no way to resolve their current predicament. At most, they could temporarily alleviate the situation. But deep down, he was still a bit uneasy. Feng Yuan's talent was too terrifying. If he broke through to the level 5, he would become a major threat. Once I get the spirit essence jade, I need to act fast. The Feng family. Feng Yuan had just returned to his courtyard when Feng He rushed in, his face full of anxiety. Yuan, come with me quickly. Seeing Feng He's serious expression, Feng Yuan immediately stood up. Uncle, what's wrong? Su Yuanba's face darkened as he replied, the old master has woken up, and he specifically named you and the other juniors. The old master. Feng Yuan was stunned. Could it be that he was still alive? Feng Yuan released his divine sense and quickly detected a strong, but weak presence in the Feng family. It was half-layer level 6, Feng. As a mid-layer level 10 expert, nothing within the Feng family could escape Feng Yuan's detection. He had just never bothered to investigate before. Soon, they reached the main courtyard, then passed through a few more paths, eventually entering a hidden underground passage. Ordinarily, such a passage would be cold and damp. But this one was warm and dry, making it surprisingly comfortable. At the deepest part of the passage sat an elderly man on a clean meditation mat. His face was haggard, his eyes dim and lifeless, and he appeared to be on the verge of death. Standing before him were the direct descendants of the family, including the elders and their children. There were only 23 of them in total. When Feng Qingtian saw Feng Yuan approach, he immediately called out, Yuan, come and pay your respects to your grandfather. Feng Yuan hurried forward, respectfully bowing. Grandson pays his respects to grandfather. Chapter 13, A Miracle Unveiled. Feng Yuan struggled to open his eyes, his clouded gaze fell on Feng Yuan, and he gave a faint smile, speaking in a hoarse and low voice. Yuana, you are our Feng family's great genius, a top-grade spirit root. Cough, cough, cough. A violent coughing sound followed, and Feng Yuan wanted to step forward, but Feng Qingtian waved him off. No need to worry about me, it's an old illness. Feng Yuan took a deep breath, then continued, you all will be the pillars of the family in the future. I hope you can lead the Feng family to greater heights. Grandfather doesn't have much time left, I'm afraid I won't be able to stay with you much longer. Though it was their first time meeting, Feng Yuan could feel the warmth and affection radiating from Feng Yuan. Feng He's daughter, Feng Qian, started shedding silent tears as the sorrow filled the air. Even Feng Qingtian had a look of sorrow in his eyes, along with deep guilt. The current state of Feng Yuan was the result of events long ago, which were caused by Feng Qingtian's actions. If it weren't for that incident, Feng Yuan wouldn't be in this state. A level 5 cultivator should have had at least 5,000 years of life. Yet here he was, in such a weakened state at only 1,500 years old, all because of that tragedy. Damn it! Feng Qingtian clenched his fists, his eyes full of frustration and regret. Feng Yuan turned to Feng Qingtian with a gentle smile. It's all right, child. Everything happens for a reason. That matter back then wasn't your fault. You shouldn't burden yourself with guilt. Feng Qingtian said nothing, holding his fists tighter, his body trembling as he fought to contain his emotions. It had been over a decade since the Feng family had entered Myriad Demon City, and this was the first time Feng Yuan had gathered them all. It was a sign that his time was coming to an end. Feng Yuan sighed, I've heard from Feng Zhuang that the 4 great families have teamed up against you. Unfortunately, I can't leave the Feng estate anymore, or I would use the last of my strength to clear the path for you. He was connected to a formation, drawing life from the earth. If he left this formation, his life would drain away even faster. Though he wished to use his remaining power to help, his situation rendered him helpless. Feng Qingtian's eyes filled with sorrow. "Father, you've already done so much for us. You need not worry anymore. We'll carry on. You've walked this path with us, from here, we can continue on our own." Feng Yuan gave a weak smile. "Hearing that brings me peace." Meanwhile, Feng Yuan watched Feng Yuan closely. There was something different about the old man's condition. It didn't seem like a matter of mere lifespan, but more like his body and soul were severely weakened, possibly due to the burning of life force or the backlash from some forbidden technique. Feng Yuan scanned them one last time, then closed his eyes, taking a deep breath before speaking again in a calm tone, "Seeing you all one final time. I have no regrets. Now, leave me. I want some peace and quiet." Everyone in the room knew there wouldn't be another meeting. Feng Yuanxian life force was quickly fading, and he only had a few days left at most. Though Feng Yuan had never left the underground chamber since the family entered Myriad Demon's city, he remained the Feng family's pillar. Without him, the Wang family would have long since allied with the Yuan and Li families to destroy the Feng family. Lingering influence was all that kept their enemies at bay. Feng Minghu's eldest son, Feng Minghu, suddenly spoke up, "Grandfather, is there truly no way to save you? Myriad Demon's city has many treasures that extend life. Surely, it's not impossible." Several other younger members looked at Feng Yuan with hope, their eyes filled with curiosity. Opened his eyes, a gentle smile on his face. "It's not a matter of lifespan. My problem is with my essence running dry. Only a heavenly tier item could save me, but such things are rare. The fact that you care is enough for me," he added. Feng Minghu's eyes dimmed with sadness. The Feng family had always valued kinship deeply, and though this was his first meeting with Feng Yuan, the blood bond was undeniable. No one wanted to see Feng Yuan die like this. Despite Feng Yuan's calm demeanor, they could sense his deep helplessness. No one wanted to die, and he was no exception. At this moment, Feng Yuan suddenly spoke. "Father, I'd like to stay behind and have a private conversation with grandfather. May I?" Feng Qingtian looked at him, then nodded silently before turning and leaving the underground chamber. The others followed suit, understanding the importance of the moment. Feng Yuan's status within the family was high enough to warrant such respect. Soon, only Feng Yuan and Feng Yuan remained. Feng Yuan, though looking frail, smiled warmly but weakly. "Child, what would you like to talk about?" Feng Yuan paused for a moment before asking, "Grandfather, what exactly is required to save you?" Regardless of the reason, Feng Yuan didn't want to see him die. Upon hearing the question, Feng Yuan gave a bitter smile and shook his head. "You're thinking of asking your master for help, aren't you? Qing Tian already told me about your master, but my situation is different. Perhaps if it were a few years earlier, I could have been saved. But now, with my life essence drained and my body broken, I'd need a heavenly tier treasure of unimaginable power. It would have to be something that could bring life to the dead and regrow broken bones." Feng Yuan's voice was low, urging Feng Yuan not to waste effort on a lost cause. Feng Qingtian had mentioned Feng Yuan's master, but Feng Yuan believed his situation was beyond salvation. Suddenly, an intense surge of life force filled the chamber, so potent that even Feng Yuan's frail energy grew stronger. Feng Yuan's eyes widened in shock as he stared at the red fruit in Feng Yuan's hand. The fruit was adorned with golden veins, exuding a powerful aura of life. It was clear at first glance that it was no ordinary item. Feng Yuan spoke calmly, "Grandfather, heavenly tier treasures are no big deal. This is called the primordial life force fruit. It can restore life to the dead and mend broken bones. It should be enough to heal you." Feng Yuan's eyes grew wide with disbelief, his previously weak face filled with excitement. While he didn't know exactly what the fruit was, he could sense that it held the power to save him. A heavenly tier treasure. It truly was a heavenly tier item. This. Did your master give this to you? When Feng Qingtian had spoken of Feng Yuan's master, Feng Yuan assumed the master was only at the level 7. He hadn't even considered that Feng Yuan would have access to something as rare as a heavenly tier treasure. But here it was a huge surprise. Feng Yuan didn't even flinch as he replied, of course. Heavenly tier treasures aren't anything special. Chapter 14, The Awakening of Feng Yuan. As Feng Yuan spoke, he opened the system's inventory to check. Ding. Primordial Life Force Fruit, 3120. Over 3,000 left, no problem, Feng Yuan thought as he handed one to Feng Yuan. Old master, try this first. If it doesn't work, I'll give you something even stronger. Even stronger. Feng Yuan's entire body trembled. You have something more potent than this primordial life force fruit. He was momentarily stunned. I've been in this underground chamber for over a decade. Has the outside world completely changed? Yuan, what's the background of your master? Feng Yuan asked, clearly puzzled. Feng Yuan, a bit confused himself, answered, I don't know. He never told me his true identity. I made it all up, Feng Yuan thought. You ask me? Who am I supposed to ask? Sometimes, a simple lie works better. Make it too perfect, and it becomes full of holes. So Feng Yuan stuck to saying, I don't know. Even if they were suspicious, they couldn't find any proof. And without proof, it became accepted as fact. Feng Yuan didn't overthink it. His face filled with excitement. I never imagined that the one to save me would be a junior. Though they had never met before, this was their first encounter, and Feng Yuan had already offered Feng Yuan such a grand gesture. We're family, Feng Yuan smiled. Family. Upon hearing this, Feng Yuan said no more. He took the primordial life force fruit from Feng Yuan and swallowed it. In an instant, an intense life force flowed through him. His dried-up meridians were rapidly restored, as if a withered tree had found spring. His old, frail body was becoming youthful and supple again. In just a few breaths, Feng Yuan's appearance changed from an ancient elder to that of a man in his 60s. But the transformation didn't stop there. The life force of the primordial life force fruit continued to flow through his body. After several dozen more breaths, the energy of the primordial life force fruit was finally depleted. Feng Yuan's aura became incredibly strong, and he now appeared as a middle-aged man, looking dignified and imposing. I'm fully recovered. Feng Yuan exclaimed, his face glowing with excitement. One primordial life force fruit had not only healed all his injuries, but also restored him to his peak strength. Half-step level 6 stage. Yuan, I owe you everything, Feng Yuan said, looking at Feng Yuan with affection. Without his grandson, Feng Yuan would have died in just 2 more days. Feng Yuan smiled lightly, it's no big deal. Seeing Feng Yuan's calm demeanor, Feng Yuan felt even more astonished. He quickly calmed his excitement and said, I may need to enter seclusion to break through to the level 6 stage, so I won't be able to leave for a while. The primordial life force fruit had not only restored his body, but had also brought him to the verge of breaking through to the level 6 stage, and he needed to seize this opportunity to make the leap. Feng Yuan bowed, then I won't disturb you any further. Feng Yuan nodded, watching as Feng Yuan walked away, his eyes flashing with deep thought. For some reason, he couldn't shake the feeling that this grandson of his was extraordinary, as if he carried an immense secret. Besides the mysterious master, there had to be more that they didn't know. But Feng Yuan didn't press further. Everyone had their secrets, and as long as Feng Yuan didn't harm the family, that was enough. Yuan has grown up. It seems I should tell him about that matter soon, Feng Yuan murmured to himself before turning his gaze inward once more. His calm heart surged with excitement again. Feeling the power coursing through his body, Feng Yuan couldn't help but feel exhilarated. If he could break through to the level 6 stage, the Feng family would be able to dominate ancient Revival City, controlling the majority of the city's resources and becoming even stronger. After Feng Yuan left the underground chamber, most of the others had already dispersed. Only Feng Qingtian and Feng Qiantian remained. Feng Qingtian sighed, the formations activated. Looks like the old master doesn't want us to disturb him anymore. Let's go, Yuan, time to head back. With that, Feng Qingtian turned and left, though his figure seemed slightly downcast. Feng Yuan didn't mention Feng's Hong Yuan recovery. Everyone in the family would know when he emerged from seclusion. Feng Yunqian was about to leave when Feng Yuan asked, "Second uncle, do you know anything about my mother?" Feng Yunqian froze mid-step, his expression turning unnatural. "Didn't your mother die? Why bring this up now?" Feng Yuan shook his head. "I'm just curious." Feng Yunqian said no more, quickly departing. Watching him leave, Feng Yuan's eyes gleamed. Looks like there's more about the family I don't know. From what Feng Yuan had gathered, the Feng family hadn't originally come from Myriad Demon City. They were from another region of the Eastern Domain, thousands of miles away. Back then, they weren't even known as the Feng family, they were called the Clearwind sect and specialized in banditry. Only after some unforeseen event did they flee thousands of miles to settle in Myriad Demon City, as if they were escaping something. Although Feng Yunqian hadn't given him a direct answer, it was clear that his mother's situation was tied to these secrets. "I'll have to find a chance to ask about it," Feng Yuan muttered, before turning and leaving. The next morning, it was time for the family's monthly distribution of cultivation resources. All the direct descendants gathered at Feng's courtyard to receive their share. Feng Minghu held a storage pouch in his hand, a look of confusion on his face. Usually, the resources were handed out directly. Why did they give storage pouches this time? The storage pouch was a cheap but essential tool for most cultivators, while space rings were much more valuable. Once everyone had received their resources and left Feng's Hongyuan courtyard, they began to examine their contents. "This is so much." Feng Minghu's eyes were full of shock. 30,000 low-grade spirit stones and 10 vitality restore pills. This is way too much. Previously, the direct descendants would usually receive 3,000 to 5,000 spirit stones, plus maybe a pill now and then. But this month's resources were nearly 10 times that amount. "I got 30,000 low-grade spirit stones and 10 vitality restore pills too. I got 20,000 low-grade spirit stones and 30 level 1 pills. I only got 15,000 low-grade spirit stones and 20 level 1 pills." The group buzzed with discussion, their faces full of shock. Although the quantities varied, everyone had received 10 times more than usual. The amount of resources allocated depended on each person's cultivation level. For instance, those at level 1 received level 1 pills, while those at level 2 got vitality restore pills. Feng Minghu quickly went back inside the courtyard and asked Feng He, fourth elder, "What's going on? The family's in trouble right now, so why are we getting so many resources?" Feng He's younger daughter, Susanna Feng, who was at level 1, chimed in, "Yeah, fourth uncle, isn't it more important to help the family through this crisis? We can go a few months without resources." The group of direct descendants all offered to return their resources. But Feng He smiled. "No need for such nonsense. You all are the future of this family. What could be more important than you? These resources come from the family head's orders. Just take them and focus on your cultivation. The family's matters aren't something you need to worry about." Chapter 15, Unveiling Power and Mockery. Feng He spoke with authority, leaving no room for the younger generation to argue, and promptly sent them away. Currently, only the family head and the elders knew that the Feng family was not lacking in resources. Even the direct descendants had no idea. Feng He's eldest son, Feng Yuzi, was the strongest among the younger generation, aside from Feng Yuan, having already reached the peak of level 2. With determination, Feng Yuzi said, "Since the family places such importance on us, we should focus on cultivation and repay the family once we've grown stronger." Hearing Feng Yuzi's words, the others fell silent. While the resources for the direct lineage had dramatically increased, the same could not be said for the branch families. The direct line was the core of the Feng family, while the branch families could either be part of the family or not. The Myriad Treasures Auction House. This was the largest business in Myriad Demon City, offering treasures ranging from low to high grades, including numerous items suited for level 5 cultivators. Even higher-level items could be ordered from larger branches for those willing to pay a deposit. Feng Yuan accompanied Feng Yuan to participate in today's auction. A level 6 expert. Feng Yuan's gaze remained calm as he sensed a powerful presence overseeing the auction house. As expected of the Myriad Treasures Auction House, they even sent a level 6 cultivator to oversee the branch. With today's auction attracting major powers from across Myriad Demon City, the place was bustling with activity. The auction house's influence surpassed that of any other business in the city. This annual auction always featured a vast array of treasures, making it the dominant force in the market. Isn't that the Feng family? How dare they show up at the Myriad Treasures auction? Can they even afford anything here? Li Feiqi, standing in the distance, sneered coldly. Ever since Feng Yuan had killed elderly, tensions between the Feng and Li families had escalated beyond reconciliation. Feng Yuan responded indifferently, "Mind your own business." With that, Feng Yuan and Feng Yuan entered the auction house, leaving Li Feiqi trembling with fury and filled with murderous intent. "Let's see how much longer you can act tough, Feng Yuan." The arrival of the Feng family immediately drew attention. Jeer Feng. The Feng family is attending the Myriad Treasures auction. I thought they were so broke they couldn't even keep their businesses running. Yeah, I heard they had to close their shops, and last month they halved their resource distribution. How do they even have the spirit stones for the auction? There's a treasure up for auction today called Spirit Essence Jade. Based on previous auctions, it's likely to fetch at least 1 billion spirit stones. There's no way the Feng family can afford it. Mocking comments echoed through the auction house. Everyone knew the Feng family's financial situation. The 4 major families wasted no opportunity to ridicule them. The Feng family, just a bunch of paupers. They actually think they can compete for the Spirit Essence Jade. What a joke. While outsiders might not know the full details, the 4 major families were well aware of the Feng family's dire financial straits. The thought of them managing even 1 million spirit stones seemed far-fetched. Hearing these jeers, Feng Yuan remained calm, but Feng Yuan was growing irritated. Fine, you want to laugh? I'll buy everything today. He had already decided that no matter what was up for auction, the Feng family would take it. Before long, everyone had taken their seats. The Myriad Treasures auction house didn't let just anyone in. Attendance was by invitation only, so everyone present either represented a faction, or was at least level 3. Those below level 3 could only attend if accompanied by a senior. A man in his 60s stepped onto the auction platform, smiling warmly. Greetings, everyone. I'm Julie, a manager at the Myriad Treasures auction house. Most of you already know me well. I will be hosting today's auction, and I ask that you all maintain order and not disrupt the proceedings. As he spoke, a powerful aura spread through the hall, causing everyone to tense up. Level 6. Julie continued with a smile, "All right, let's get started with the auction." With a wave of his hand, 3 round pills appeared on the stone platform beside him. The first item is a 3rd-grade pill, the level 1 formation pill, which significantly increases the chances of forming a level 1. The starting bid is 500,000 spirit stones. Many first-time attendees were astonished by the high starting bid, but those familiar with the auction remained composed. Feng looked indifferent. While the pill was valuable, it wasn't a rare treasure in Myriad Demon City, where it could be bought as long as you had the stones. 510,000 spirit stones. 530,000 spirit stones. The bidding quickly reached 800,000 spirit stones, a standard price for the level 1 formation pill. 800,000 spirit stones, any more bids? Julie smiled and waited for further offers. Seeing no one respond, he continued, 800,000 once, 800,000 twice. I bid 1 million. Feng Yuan's calm voice broke the silence. A Feng glanced at him in surprise, wondering why Feng Yuan was bidding on a pill when he had already formed his level 1. But remembering Feng Yuan's massive fortune, Feng Yuan decided not to intervene. The auction house fell silent as all eyes turned to Feng Yuan. The bidder who had just offered 800,000 looked particularly dumbfounded. Does the Feng family even need this pill? Li Feiqi burst into laughter. The Feng family never ceases to amaze. Fighting over a worthless pill. Yuan Cheese, seated nearby, added mockingly, maybe that's all the Feng family can afford. Laughter filled the auction house, mostly from the 4 major families. While others might have found it funny, they knew better than to mock the Feng family openly. Julie called out, 1 million once, twice, 3 times, sold. Congratulations, young Master Feng Yuan, on winning the level 1 pill. Next up, we have a 4th grade pill, the All-Spirit pill, starting at 3 million spirit stones. Chapter 16. Feng Yuan dominates the Myriad Treasures auction house. Next up for auction is the 2nd item, the 4-grade Universal Elixir, starting at 3 million lower-grade spirit stones. Universal Elixir. The members of the 4 great families all had serious expressions. They didn't expect such a pill to appear. The effect of the Universal Elixir was simple. It could directly help a level 4 cultivator break through to the next minor stage, and it was effective for any level 4 cultivator who had yet to reach perfection. This kind of pill was rare, even in Myriad Demon City, and it was surprising that it was the 2nd item up for auction. According to the rules of Myriad Treasures auction house, they would auction off 15 items each year, with each item getting better and better. If the 2nd item was a Universal Elixir, the later items would surely be even more impressive. The 4 great families withdrew their gaze, deciding to save their spirit stones for later, especially for the Spirit Essence Jade, which they all had their eyes on. 3,500,000 spirit stones, a level 4 cultivator bid. The hall was soon filled with a flurry of bids. 3,600,000 spirit stones. 3,900,000 spirit stones. The price slowly rose and the number of bids decreased until the price settled at 6 million spirit stones. Julie announced 6 million once. 6,500,000, Feng Yuan's calm voice rang out, causing everyone to look toward him in confusion. What was going on? Hadn't it been said that the Feng family was out of spirit stones? How could they still afford to bid 6.5 million for the Universal Elixir? Li Feiqi narrowed his eyes and mocked, this is Myriad Treasures auction house, you can't just shout out random bids. Does the Feng family even have 6.5 million spirit stones? In his opinion, there was no way the Feng family could afford such a large sum. Although Myriad Treasures auction house didn't get involved in local power struggles, they were well aware of the situation in Myriad Demon City. Julie, the auctioneer, maintained a serious expression as he said, young friend, bidding is no joke. There are serious consequences for false bids. Without a word, Feng Yuan tossed a space ring over. Julie took it, inspected it briefly, and then his stern face broke into a smile. 6.5 million, once, twice, sold. Congratulations to young Master Feng on winning the Universal Elixir. As per the rules, the elixir will be delivered to you after the auction. Businessmen don't care about face, they can change their attitude as quickly as a chameleon. Feng Yuan nodded calmly and glanced mockingly at Li Feiqi, his eyes filled with disdain, but not a word uttered. Yet this silence alone was enough to infuriate Li Feiqi. Feng Yuan. I'll kill you one day and avenge Li Qiu. Li Feiqi's thoughts were in turmoil. How could the Feng family still have so many spirit stones? Several more items were auctioned off after that, all of which were related to the level 4, and all were won by Feng Yuan. Each time, he paid on the spot, leaving the entire audience dumbfounded. Wasn't the Feng family supposed to be broke? In just a short time, they had already spent nearly 40 million spirit stones. Even the Wang family wouldn't dare to spend so recklessly. Wang Ming's eyes grew colder. A bad feeling crept over him. What's going on? The Wang family steward standing nearby said, Master, this doesn't make sense. Our informants in the Feng family were sure that they had no more than 1 million lower-grade spirit stones left. It's impossible for them to have this much. Moreover, the informants have been working with us for a long time. It's unlikely they've betrayed us. Wang Ming's face darkened. He thought about the recent reports suggesting that something had changed within the Feng family. Let's keep watching. I don't believe Feng Yuan can buy everything. In the auction hall, Zhu Li waved his hand, revealing four-colored flags radiating a powerful aura. He spoke loudly, the 13th item, a mid-level Xian-grade formation, the four symbols array. It can be used for both offense and defense. The best part is that the array is inscribed onto the flags, making it portable, though activating it requires a large amount of spiritual energy. Starting bid, 10 million lower-grade spirit stones. The hall fell silent. While the array was excellent, it was also quite expensive. Everyone looked towards the 5 major families. Since a mid-level Xian-grade treasure had already appeared, it seemed that they would only be spectators for the remainder of the auction. Wang Ming scoffed, 11 million spirit stones. The Wang family knew that they had little chance of acquiring the spirit essence jade, so it was better to acquire useful items like the four symbols array. After his bid, the hall grew quiet. No one else was interested in competing for it. Apparently, the other families didn't find the array worth the price. 12 million, Feng Yuan's lazy voice rang out. Wang Ming turned sharply, his eyes filled with rage. Feng Yuan. He couldn't figure out how the Feng family could possibly have so many spirit stones. I bid 13 million spirit stones. Feng Yuan replied casually, 20 million spirit stones. Hiss. A collective gasp filled the room. Feng Yuan had just raised the bid by 7 million in one go, an unprecedented move in the auction. Most people would increase their bids little by little, trying to save where they could. How much wealth did the Feng family have to allow Feng Yuan to bid so recklessly? Wang Ming was furious, though he wanted nothing more than to kill Feng Yuan on the spot. But this was Myriad Treasure's auction house, he couldn't act recklessly. 2 million was already beyond his valuation of the four symbols array, so he snorted coldly and withdrew from the bidding. I'll see how much more the Feng family can afford to spend. Feng Yuan tossed another space ring over, and Zhu Li smiled broadly after inspecting it. Congratulations to young Master Feng on winning the four symbols array. Feng Yunxian couldn't help but chuckle softly, Yuan, you can't just spend spirit stones like that, even if you have them. Feng Yuan replied calmly, Second uncle, it's just a few spirit stones. I originally planned to spend 10 billion, but I haven't even reached 1/10 of that yet. The people of Myriad Demon City are just too poor, there's no challenge. Feng Yunxian's mouth twitched. It was clear Feng Yuan had a very different perspective on wealth. Do you know what 10 billion spirit stones even mean? At the Feng family's previous rate of earning, they would need 200 years without any expenses to accumulate 10 billion spirit stones. Factoring in family expenses, it would take closer to 1,000 years to save that much. Zhu Li presented the next item, an exquisite porcelain bottle emanating a faint spiritual energy. Everyone, I'm sure you know what this next item is. Spirit Essence Jade Liquid. It helps level for perfection stage cultivators break through to the level 5 without any barriers and has no side effects. It's here. The eyes of everyone in the hall lit up, including Feng Yunxian's. This was what the Feng family had come for. Of course, the other families wanted it just as much. But if Spirit Essence Jade Liquid was only the 14th item, then what kind of treasure could be left for the final item? Zhu Li spoke calmly, the starting bid is 70 million lower-grade spirit stones. Chapter 17, Feng Yuan's wealth shocks Myriad Demon City. 80 million spirit stones. Yuan Hao was the first to speak, his calm voice echoing throughout the auction hall. Hearing this price, many people in the hall gasped. To raise the bid by 10 million in one go was quite bold. Feng Yuan asked, "Second uncle, I remember that the last time spirit essence jade was auctioned, it sold for 270 million lower-grade spirit stones, right?" Feng Yuan was just about to make a bid, but when he heard Feng Yuan's question, he replied, "Yes, why do you ask?" Getting the confirmation he needed, Feng Yuan raised his hand, 300 million spirit stones. Boom! As soon as those words left his mouth, the entire hall was shocked, and everyone stared at Feng Yuan in disbelief. 300 million spirit stones. This price exceeded the last auction of spirit essence jade by 30 million spirit stones. Was the Feng family really that wealthy? Who was spreading the rumor that the Feng family was broke? That person needed to be punished immediately. A broke family couldn't just pull out 300 million spirit stones like that. Wang Ming and Yuan Hao both stood up in shock, their eyes filled with disbelief as they looked at Feng Yuan. The head of the He family, who had just been about to bid 90 million, froze on the spot. What just happened? 300 million spirit stones was such an outrageous bid that even Wang Ming was caught off guard. Feng Yuan was dumbfounded. Fine, if you've got the spirit stones to burn, go ahead. He had lived frugally for so long that spending spirit stones had always been something he did cautiously. However, he didn't stop Feng Yuan from bidding recklessly. After all, Feng Yuan was spending his own spirit stones. Julie was also momentarily stunned, not expecting Feng Yuan to make such a bold bid in one go. But being a man with vast experience, he quickly recovered. Feng Yuan bids 300 million spirit stones. Does anyone else wish to place a bid? Wang Ming's eyes were cold. He hadn't expected the Feng family to still have so many spirit stones. Damn it. No wonder they had the confidence to close their shops. Even without income, they could clearly sustain themselves for quite some time. Miscalculation. Wang Ming quickly composed himself and spoke aloud, 310 million. He sneered coldly. The Wang family had plenty of spirit stones. No matter how rich the Feng family was, they couldn't possibly compete with the Wang family. Today, he would show them what true wealth was. Feng Yuan glanced at Wang Ming indifferently and raised his hand again, 400 million spirit stones. Wang Ming froze, his head slowly turning as he looked at Feng Yuan in disbelief. He had just increased his bid by 90 million. 400 million spirit stones already exceeded the typical value of spirit essence jade, but considering its rarity, a higher price wasn't unusual. Still, 400 million was a ridiculous number. The auction hall fell silent. Feng Yuan casually asked, "Does the Wang family head wish to raise the bid again?" Wang Ming's face darkened. The price of 400 million was way too high, but the Wang family still had enough resources. After a moment's hesitation, he replied, "Feng Yuan, don't get too full of yourself. My Wang family's wealth is not something your Feng family can match. 410 million spirit stones." Li Feisher joined in, laughing mockingly, "What are you showing off for? I wonder how long you can keep up this farce. You've already stretched yourself thin with that bid." It was clear that he believed Feng Yuan's aggressive bidding was a sign that he was running out of resources and trying to intimidate the Wang family. Wang Ming, hearing this, regained his confidence. The Wang family had been entrenched in Myriad Demon's city for so long. Even if the Feng family had some hidden wealth, they couldn't possibly be as deep-pocketed as the Wang family. Feng Yuan sneered, 500 million spirit stones. The smiles on Wang Ming and Li Feisher's faces froze instantly. The Feng family could still raise their bid. Just how many spirit stones did they have left? Wang Ming began to realize that the Feng family might not be as financially crippled as he had thought, and the idea of their economic sanctions on the Feng family suddenly seemed laughable. Was the Feng family even worried about their so-called sanctions? Wang Ming refused to give up 500 million and 600 million spirit stones. Feng Yuan's voice cut him off before he could finish speaking. Wang Ming's raised hand froze midair, unsure whether to lower it or continue bidding. 600 million spirit stones was simply too much. Feng Yuan added mockingly, Wang family head, care to raise the bid? Feng Yuan had an abundance of spirit stones at his disposal. Half a month ago, he had received a reward of 30 million immortal crystals from his system. According to the classification of spirit stones, they went from lower grade, middle grade, upper grade, top grade, sacred crystals, to immortal crystals, with the ratio between each level being 100 to 1. That meant 30 million immortal crystals were equivalent to 3 trillion lower grade spirit stones. Feng Yuan's wealth was unimaginable. He had more lower grade spirit stones than he could ever spend. As Feng Yuan's voice echoed in the hall, silence descended again. Wang Ming's eyelids twitched uncontrollably. Even his steward, standing nearby, was shocked beyond words. He blurted out, how can the Feng family have that many spirit stones? I don't believe it. Julie, I suspect the Feng family is placing false bids. Many others in the hall shared his skepticism, finding it hard to believe that the Feng family could afford such astronomical bids. Feng Yuan said calmly, as long as it's confirmed to be mine, I will pay the spirit stones on the spot. Julie shot a cold glance at the Wang family steward and warned, please do not disrupt the auction proceedings. As a business, the Myriad Treasures auction house naturally favored those with deeper pockets. Feng Yuan had been paying for every bid instantly. The Wang family steward fell silent, unable to refute, but he still found it hard to accept that the Feng family could produce so many spirit stones. Wang Ming's eyes glinted with cold determination. He discreetly transmitted a message to his steward, send word to our people immediately. We will launch an all-out attack on the Feng family. This time, the Wang family will spare no effort in erasing them from Myriad Demon City. Feng Yuan obviously had more spirit stones, but raising the bid further was meaningless. 600 million far exceeded the value of spirit essence jade. They had to act now to prevent the Feng family from growing stronger. Once they had another level 5 expert, along with Feng Yuan's own breakthrough, the Feng family would be nearly impossible to eliminate. The Wang family steward's face turned serious as he received the message. He nodded respectfully and left the auction house. Wang Ming remained silent, exchanging icy glances with the other 3 family heads. Without speaking, they all communicated the same murderous intent. After confirming that no one else would raise the bid, Julie declared the spirit essence jade sold to the Feng family. Feng Yuan paid the 600 million spirit stones immediately. Julie glanced at the mountainous pile of lower-grade spirit stones in the spatial ring, and couldn't help but gasp in awe. He was elated, this year's sales performance was sure to skyrocket. Julie then introduced the next item, an intricately designed pill radiating a faint energy. Now we present the final item of this auction, a grade 6 dragon transformation pill. What? Wang Ming shot to his feet, staring in disbelief at the pill covered in dragon patterns. The final item was actually a dragon transformation pill. This pill was far more powerful than a universal pill, capable of directly enhancing a level 5 cultivator's power. To only a grade 6 late-level alchemist could refine such a pill. Wang Ming's eyes glowed with greed. Surely the Feng family, having spent so much on the spirit essence jade, wouldn't have enough left for this. With the Wang family's vast wealth, they could easily outbid the others and take the pill. Wang Ming's confidence returned, his smile growing wider. Chapter 18, The Bidding War. Julie loudly announced, the starting price is 1 billion lower-grade spirit stones. Just as Wang Ming was about to make his bid, a familiar voice interrupted. Feng Yuan calmly said, 6 billion spirit stones. Wang Ming's smile froze instantly. He looked at Feng Yuan with a confused and dumbfounded expression. Does the Feng family still have spirit stones? More importantly, how can they casually raise the bid by 5 billion? Even if they had spirit stones, this isn't how you bid, right? It wasn't just Wang Ming, many in the auction house gasped in shock, their eyes filled with disbelief as they stared at Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan glanced at Wang Ming and asked curiously, "Does the Wang family head like this item too?" "Let me raise the bid by another billion then, 7 billion spirit stones." "What?" Wang Ming's face was filled with anger. Ever since he became the family head, it had been a long time since anyone had made him this furious. But now, he had the urge to strangle Feng Yuan. This is too infuriating. Feng Yuan's domineering bidding silenced the other three families that had been about to make a move. What's the point of bidding now? The starting bid was already 7 billion lower-grade spirit stones. Among the four great families, only the Yuan and Wang families could afford to bid 7 billion spirit stones, but it was clear from Feng Yuan's attitude that he still had more to offer. They were all confused. How does the Feng family have so many spirit stones? It's ridiculous. Many others in the auction hall were equally shocked, believing this to be the most absurd auction they had ever witnessed. Usually, people bid little by little, but Feng Yuan was raising the bid by billions. Some level 4 layer cultivators felt utterly defeated. Their family's entire wealth amounted to a few tens of millions, while Feng Yuan casually offered billions. There was no comparison. Still, some sneered. The Feng family's arrogance was a sure path to destruction. The four great families would never let them off so easily. In the Li family, Li Feiqi's eldest son, Li He, asked worriedly, "Father, what should we do?" With the Feng family's wealth so abundant, the economic sanctions they had previously imposed seemed useless. Now that the Feng family had obtained several rare treasures, it would be even more challenging for the four families to target them. If the Feng family continued to grow, it would spell disaster for the four great families. Especially since the Li family had already torn their relationship with the Feng family apart. Li Feiqi's eyes were cold as he replied, "Don't worry, the Feng family won't live past today." Li He's face brightened with joy. "Father, does this mean we're about to take action against the Feng family?" Li Feiqi nodded, a sinister smile on his face. No matter how many treasures they have, it won't matter if they don't live long enough to use them. Indeed, if the Feng family had more time, they would rapidly increase in power. But at the moment, the Feng family only had 2 level 5 layer cultivators. On the auction platform, Zhu Li's smile remained as he announced, 7 billion spirit stones, going once, going twice, sold. Congratulations to young Master Feng on purchasing the Dragon Transformation Pill. This concludes today's auction. Please leave the venue in an orderly fashion. Everyone left with dazed expressions. It had been a surreal auction, with one person buying all the items, a situation never before seen. Some of the younger participants were brimming with excitement. They had seen enough today to boast about for an entire year. In one of the luxurious private rooms of the auction house, Zhu Li's face was full of smiles as he handed over a spatial ring. "Here are the items young Master Feng has purchased. You may check them." Although he was a level 6 cultivator, he was very humble in his service. His attitude was exceedingly polite. Feng Yuan stepped back and gestured to Feng Yunqian. "Uncle, you have more experience than me. Please verify the items." He said this to give his uncle face, as it seemed like Feng Yunqian had only come along to observe, but now it felt as if he were the follower. Feng Yunqian didn't mind. He stepped forward to inspect the contents of the spatial ring carefully. After confirming everything, he nodded and said, "Thank you for your efforts, Manager Zhu." Zhu Li waved it off, smiling. "It's my duty." "But," he added with a slightly amused tone, "it seems the Feng family is facing some trouble. If you have enough spirit stones, I can introduce you to some reliable protectors. For the right price, we can even provide level 6 stage experts." Under normal circumstances, Zhu Li wouldn't make such an offer. But with the Feng family showing astonishing financial power, he made an exception. Feng Yunqian's expression shifted in surprise. Even a level 6 protector was within reach. How much would it cost to hire one? Feng Yunqian asked. Zhu Li replied, "Normally, 1 billion lower-grade spirit stones would be enough to hire a level 6 stage expert for a year. 1 billion spirit stones. Feng Yuan was stunned. It was a steep price, but one the Feng family could afford at this point. Seeing that Feng Yuan was tempted, Julie handed him a communication token. If you need it, just contact me. This was a private deal. Julie knew many strong cultivators, including level 6 stage experts who needed spirit stones. Feng Yuan thanked him, and took his leave with Feng Yuan. This matter would need to be discussed back at the Feng family's estate. As the two of them left, Julie gazed after them, and then looked out into the distance with a cold glint in his eyes. It looks like Myriad Demon's city is about to get very lively. The two returned to the Feng family estate quickly. Feng Yuan was still feeling anxious. The Feng family had purchased too many things, and with such an overwhelming display of wealth, he feared the Wang family would soon turn hostile. No sooner had the thought crossed his mind than a terrifying aura burst forth in the distance, enveloping the two of them. Not good. Feng Yuan's expression changed dramatically. Feng Yuan, you won't be leaving today. Wang Ming's voice echoed as he launched a massive fireball towards them. The fireball radiated extreme heat, seemingly capable of burning everything in its path. Feng Yuan, who was at the early level 5 stage, struggled to fend it off and shouted angrily, Wang Ming, does your Wang family intend to go to war with the Feng family? His eyes were filled with concern. Wang Ming had shown himself openly, which meant he was prepared for an all-out confrontation. If only the Feng family had more time, they wouldn't have to fear the Wang family. Today, the Feng family will be annihilated. Li Feiqi appeared with a cold and murderous expression. And you, Feng Yuan, I will skin you alive. As Li Feiqi arrived, the heads of the He and Yuan families, along with the remaining level 5 experts of the Wang family, also joined the fray. Feng Yuan remained calm, and even mocked them with a hint of a smile. Don't worry, none of you will succeed in killing me today. Chapter 19, The Battle Against the Four Great Families. After he finished speaking, he realized he might have come across as a bit arrogant. After all, on the surface, he was still only a cultivator at the level 4. However, if something truly happened to the Feng family, he would step in directly. Without a doubt. After today, even if nothing happened to the Feng family, he would personally destroy the 4 major families of Tomorrow City. The aura of a level 5 cultivator spread across Tomorrow City, and countless people displayed expressions of panic. Especially some of the nearby factions and individuals, after realizing that something unusual was happening, many had already started to flee. A grand battle between level 5 cultivators was about to erupt. No one wanted to witness a battle of this magnitude. Even a level 4 cultivator could perish in the aftermath if they weren't careful. Do you really want to fight to the death with my Feng family? Feng Yuan's gaze was icy. In an instant, Feng Qingtian's figure appeared beside her. He had noticed the situation early on, so he had hurried over. Feng Qingtian's expression was solemn. The 4 major families in Tomorrow City had gathered a total of 7 cultivators at level 5. Meanwhile, the Feng family had only 2 at this level. In the past, these people were probably deterred by the lingering influence of the Feng family's elder, but now, they were clearly done holding back. What does Elder Feng have to say? Yuan Hao's voice echoed as his figure gradually emerged in the sky, with another level 5 cultivator from the Yuan family at his side. At this moment, all the level 5 cultivators from the 4 major families had assembled. Yuan Hao looked down at Feng Yuan with contempt and said, Does your Feng family deserve a fight to the death against our 4 major families? If it weren't for Feng Yuan, you wouldn't even be qualified to enter this city. Hearing these words, Feng Qingtian and Feng Yuan's faces turned extremely grim. Indeed, without Feng Yuan holding the fort, the Feng family wouldn't have the qualifications to contend with the 4 great families. Feng Qingtian said calmly, Yuana, when the fight begins, your priority is to find a chance to escape immediately. Your third uncle is already making arrangements. You don't need to worry about anything else, just focus on escaping. Even if the Feng family is destroyed, as long as you survive, the family still exists. Feng Qingtian appeared composed, but his grave expression revealed how dire the situation was. The outcome was all but certain destruction for the Feng family. Feng Yuan, however, was contemplating whether or not to simply kill the members of the four great families. But if he did, how would he explain it? My master gave me sudden enlightenment. That was too far-fetched. Even Feng Yuan found it a bit ridiculous. He wasn't too concerned about Feng Qingtian and Feng Yunqian's safety. As long as he was there, they were in no real danger. The issue was more about how to explain what would happen next. Feng Yuan quickly devised a plan and smiled, saying, "Father, you're underestimating me. I am at the peak of level 4. With my strength, I'm unbeatable below the mid-layer of level 5. Haven't you heard of geniuses who can surpass realms to defeat their enemies?" Feng Qingtian was stunned and asked seriously, "Is that true?" Having 3 combatants at level 5 would certainly increase their chances of survival, even if they had to flee. Feng Yuan smiled, his figure transforming into a meteor as he charged toward Li Feisher. Li Feisher sneered at the sight of a mere level 4 attacking him. "A small fry from level 4 dares to attack me. You overestimate yourself." He reached out to grab Feng Yuan, but suddenly felt a tremendous force. His expression changed drastically. Bang! Li Feisher was sent flying, crashing into the city. What? Everyone present widened their eyes in disbelief. Feng Yuan had such power that he could send Li Feisher, who was at mid-layer level 5, flying with one punch. The difference in realms between them was staggering. Some geniuses could surpass a small stage, but crossing an entire level was unheard of. Feng Qingtian and Feng Yunqian were equally astonished, as if they had seen a ghost. Was Feng Yuan really this strong? A single punch had sent Li Feisher flying, something even Feng Yunqian couldn't accomplish. Yet Feng Yuan had done it with ease, showcasing an incredible physical strength. Ugh! Li Feisher spat out a mouthful of blood. The punch had been filled with hidden force, and if he hadn't reacted quickly, he might have been seriously injured. How? How can you have this level of strength? Li Feisher's voice trembled with disbelief. Feng Yuan replied coolly, "There are many things you haven't seen." Wang Ming roared, "Stop wasting time. Kill them now, no mercy." Feng Yuan's strength had rattled him. If Feng Yuan could match level 5 at such a young age, in 2 years, wouldn't he break through to level 6? Plus, the Feng family had demonstrated an astonishing amount of wealth, which only deepened the sense of crisis for the 4 great families. Wang Ming's mid-layer level 5 aura burst out, filling the entire myriad demons city with pressure. The 5 level 5 cultivators from the Wang and Yuan families charged toward Feng Qingtian. Li Feisher and He Hongyun also rushed toward Feng Yuan. The battle had begun. Feng Qingtian's face was grim, his body emanating a savage aura as his muscles turned crimson. Kill. 2 against 5, there was no suspense in this fight. After just a few moves, Qingtian and Feng Yunqian were already on the verge of defeat. Don't get bogged down. Look for an opening to flee immediately, Qingtian said in a low voice. Wang Ming coldly remarked, "No one can save you today." He tossed out a few stones inscribed with glowing runes. Array stones. The stones were inscribed with formations, similar to the 4 symbols array, that could be activated when needed. Wang Ming quickly set up the formation, and before Qingtian could react, they were completely enveloped. Damn it! Qingtian cursed, his face darkening. Wang Ming laughed. Ha ha! This array is a mid-tier profound-grade killing formation. I paid a high price to kill you. With that, he controlled the array, and a massive sword materialized, slashing toward Qingtian. Though the sword was formed from the array, it held the power to kill a level 5 cultivator. Qingtian barely dodged, but the sword swiftly turned toward Feng Yunqian. Feng Yunqian, at the early layer of level 5, was too slow to evade, barely able to defend. Ugh! The sword pierced through his defenses, heading straight for his forehead. I'll help. Feng Yuan, bursting with power, shattered the sword with a punch, saving Feng Yuan. Wang Ming's eyes gleamed coldly. It's not over yet. 3 more weapons appeared within the formation, a sword, a saber, and a spear. Meanwhile, the Yuan and Wang families' level 5 experts entered the array, coordinating their attacks. Qingtian's heart sank. They had been well prepared. It was 5 against 2, plus the killing formation. There was no way they could survive this. Yuan! Run now! Qingtian shouted desperately. But then he froze. What am I seeing? In his line of sight, Feng Yuan was actually holding his own against both He Hongyun and Li Feisher. How is his power so overwhelming? Both of them are mid-layer level 5. For a level 4 to fight one mid-layer level 5 is already absurd. But 2. He Hongyun roared, Wang Ming, kill them quickly. This kid's power is unnatural. Wang Ming, seeing that 2 mid-layer level 5 couldn't handle Feng Yuan, barked, useless. He Hongyun gritted his teeth. Why don't you come fight him yourself? This Feng Yuan was impossibly fast, and his body was absurdly strong. Whenever He Hongyun prepared a spell, Feng Yuan would be in his face, leaving him no choice but to take the hits. It was utterly humiliating. And He Hongyun couldn't shake the feeling that Feng Yuan was toying with them. Chapter 20, The Feng Clan's Last Stand. The battle was almost suspenseful, especially after the Wang family's level 5 cultivators had no scruples. Feng Qingtian and Feng Yuan had no power to resist. Bang! Feng Yuan was blown away and fell to the ground, a large mouthful of blood spurted out, and his breath became extremely weak. Kill him! Wang Shou burst out with murderous intent in his hands, and suddenly killed Feng Yuan. Damn it! Feng Yuan wanted to resist, but the severe pain in his body temporarily paralyzed his body, and now he couldn't even raise his hand. Second brother! Feng Qingtian roared, his eyes full of anxiety. Wang Ming sneered, Don't worry, I'll send you down to accompany him later. At this moment, a terrifying wave came from a distance, which made people horrified. What's going on? Everyone looked in that direction, with an extremely solemn expression. This is the breath of the level 6. That direction, the 4 major families all had a bad feeling in their hearts. Wang Shou was shocked. Under this terrifying pressure, the spiritual power in his hand was a little unstable, and the attack that had just been condensed exploded directly in his hand. Inside the Wanbao pavilion. After Zhu noticed this breath, a gleam of light suddenly burst out of his eyes, and he looked like he was watching a good show. The 4 major families are going to be in trouble. Soon, the powerful breath disappeared in an instant, just when everyone breathed a sigh of relief. A figure tore through the void and came. He was tall and fierce, and his eyes were full of sharpness. Is this the level 6? Seeing this strange figure, the people of several major families were immediately shocked and saluted. Greetings, senior. Feng Hongyuan sneered. He raised his hand to grab it, the void suddenly broke, and Wang Shou was directly pinched in his hand. This cultivator in the middle stage of level 5 was like a little chicken, without any resistance. Senior. Wang Shou looked panicked. He didn't understand why the level 6 stage in front of him wanted to attack him. The moment Feng Qingtian and Feng Yuan saw the newcomer, their expressions became extremely rich. Old man. You broke through. The appearance in front of them was exactly what Feng Hongyuan looked like at the beginning, but because of the blood drying up after that battle, his appearance became extremely old. The 2 of them were excited and happy when they saw Feng Hongyuan's breakthrough. They didn't expect that Feng Hongyuan could survive in a desperate situation. Now that the Feng family has a powerful person in level 6, they still need to be afraid of the 4 major families. Feng Hongyuan smiled and said, Of course, thank you for your hard work. Leave it to me next. After saying that, he exerted a little force, and Wang Shou in his hand exploded directly and fell in an instant. Wang Ming felt Feng Yuan's breath, and he suddenly reacted. He screamed in horror. "You are Feng Yuan, how could you not die?" When Feng Yuan entered Myriad Demon City, his condition was extremely poor, as if he would die at any time. After so many years, his condition has not deteriorated but has become better. He even broke through from the half-step level 6 to the early layer level 6. Wang Ming really couldn't accept the scene in front of him. Feng Yuan sneered, and he punched out directly, containing infinite power, and directly broke the formation arranged by Wang Ming. The aftermath attacked the Wang family and the Yuan family's transformation level, and immediately made them retreat continuously. This is just the aftermath. If it hits them, it is estimated that they will be turned into powder on the spot. The later the realm is, the greater the gap. The difference between the level 5 and the level 6 is one realm, but the combat power is far apart, like the difference between clouds and mud. Such a powerful strength makes a group of Yuanying level feel terrified. Wang Ming's face is even gloomy. If Wang Shou died, even if the Feng family was destroyed, their Wang family's loss would be extremely painful. Looking at Feng Yuan, who had a strong aura, he could not help but roar. "How long do you want to watch the show?" Feng Yuan sneered and said contemptuously, "Are there any helpers?" But soon, his expression was shocked and he looked towards the distance with some solemnity. The void in the distance suddenly cracked and four figures slowly walked out. The leader looked a little embarrassed, and even had an arm broken, and his breath was a little weak. Wang Ming's pupils suddenly shrank, and he knew who the man with a broken arm in the front was. This man was the one who had cooperated with him to destroy the Feng family before, and he was also a late layer level 5 strongman. But who were the three people behind him? The aura of those three people was terrifyingly strong, obviously beyond the level 5, and they were all strong people in the level 6. What's going on? Wang Ming was full of fear. How could this matter involve 3 level 6 again? Everything in front of him was obviously beyond Wang Ming's expectations. Among the three, a thin man with a long nose laughed coldly, "Ha ha ha, it's easy to get it. I didn't expect that the Clear Wind gang that the Secret Sentry issued the task to was actually the Feng family." Secret Sentry. Everyone was shocked. They had all heard of this force. Secret Sentry is a feared assassination force in the East region. They have their own assassins and will also issue a reward. Anyone can take the order. Wang Ming's eyes were full of horror. Who on earth offered a reward to the Feng family that could make 3 powerful people in the level 6 attempted? Feng Yuan's face changed drastically. Has he been found after hiding for so many years? The key is that the 3 people in front of him are stronger than him, and the person who spoke just now gave him a strong sense of oppression. Late layer level 6. The other 2 are also in the middle layer of level 6. "My lords, I have brought you here. Can you let me go?" The man with the broken arm was full of pleading. Lu Ming sneered and raised his hand to kill him directly. "You are so old but still so childish." After saying that, he looked at the people of the Feng family again, and finally fixed his eyes on Feng Yuan. "Your name is Feng Yuan, right?" Feng Yuan looked a little solemn, and he was tense, ready to fight back at any time. He had just broken through the level 6, and facing 3 powerful level 6, the pressure was huge. LV Ming said coldly, "You are in the level 6, which is inconsistent with the intelligence. It seems that you have broken through again during this period. Didn't you say that you were seriously injured and dying? You can actually break through. It really surprised me." Then he pointed at Feng Qingtian. "Your name is Feng Qingtian. And Feng Yunqian. Why are there 4 people missing?" Luo Xingye sneered, "Brother, wouldn't it be known if you arrested them and searched their souls directly?" LV Ming laughed, "That makes sense." Then, his eyes became extremely greedy. "One head is worth 2 million high-grade spirit stones, and you are just a bunch of trash. I don't know which big force you have offended, and they are willing to kill you at such a high price. Hearing this, the people of several major families were shocked. 2 million high-grade spirit stones. This is 20 billion low-grade spirit stones. The heads of the Feng family are so valuable in the secret century. Feng Yuan suddenly shouted, "Qing Tian, take Yuana and run away." At the same time, the aura on his body suddenly exploded, and it became more and more violent. Feng Yuan was burning his blood and forcibly improving his strength in a short time. He must stop the 3 level 6 to buy time for the Feng family to escape. Feng Yuan didn't expect that he would have to fight for his life again after just breaking through.